I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! Good morning. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. I am John Greaves III. I'm the co-founder of Garage Gym Life. On this show, we talk about at-home fitness-related content. So it's fitness from a home gym perspective, and we get your live reactions to the topics that matter to the home gym community. Plus, we have a lot of fun along the way. If this is your first time checking out this show, welcome. I promise you that you are in for a good time today. Let me go ahead and just break down real quick what's on today's show. So in the first hour, we'll have news and other things as usual. Plus, we're going to have a brand new installment of the most popular segment, that's Recliner of Rage, where basically you guys laugh at my pain, okay? I complain about something in my home gym that has betrayed me, and then you guys get to laugh about it because y'all don't care about my feelings. I know how you are. That's okay, though. Then in the second hour, we're going to do React and Respond. It's one of my favorite segments. It's basically where you and I will go over the news items and different things that have come across my radar this week, and we react to those news items together. Then in the third hour, that will be 8 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. if you are in the Mountain Time Zone. Matt Dawson from Ironmaster will be joining the show. He's going to be giving us a recap of, so Matt's been everywhere, so he's going to give us a recap of FIBO, where he was last week. We're going to talk about the HFA show with 2025 that was in Vegas last month. I saw Matt there. I saw the Ironmaster crew there. And we're also going to talk about HomeGymCon. So he was at HomeGymCon. Ironmaster was at HomeGymCon last year, and they are going to be among the exhibitors this year. So we're going to talk about last year's HomeGymCon, and we're going to get a sneak preview of this coming year's HomeGymCon that's going to be in June. I hope you guys will be there for that. And then in the final hour, which will be 9 a.m. EST, 6 a.m. Pacific time, Jack Brimhall from Brimhall Barbell Club YouTube channel will stop by to talk about his latest product reviews and kind of give us a sneak preview about what is next for his channel. All right, so now you know what's going on. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor, and I need you to smash that like button and hit subscribe. If you're watching on Instagram, go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram. And welcome to all you guys who are watching on Instagram. This is our first time actually going live on Instagram and everywhere and on YouTube at the same time in this format. So glad to have you guys here. But go ahead, like I said, hit like, hit subscribe if you're on YouTube, hit follow if you are on Instagram or Facebook. Go ahead, follow the Facebook page. And let's go ahead and say what's up to everybody who is in the live chat. So one little technical note on Instagram, I have to look this way to be able to see the Instagram comments. Okay, I do see you guys. I see my man Keith from the No Wine Cellar at MVR Garage Gym. What's up? QLI Fitness Factory. Hey, I sent Suri a message on LinkedIn, QLI Fitness, because I need to get you guys on the show. So I will send, hey, so I appreciate you guys for being here. Shoot me a DM because I want to get you guys on the show to talk about Clive or somebody to get on the show. We're going to talk about some of your products, okay? My guy, Jared Martin. Jared is everywhere. So Jared is watching on, let's see here. So Jared is watching on Instagram. He's watching here on YouTube. Everywhere I look, my man is over there, all right? At Arch O Wells has joined. What's up? And USPC.pl has joined. I don't know if that's Johnny or Star, but whoever joined, what is up? I can't wait to see you guys again for another live stream. All right, so let's see here over here on StreamYard. Let's pop you guys up here. Let's see who's the first in the building. Was my guy Carlos at CBSTCR. He's also on Instagram at CBS True Consumer Reviews. He says, wake up, wake up, wake up. That's right. Ain't no time for sleeping in bed. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. That's right. Get up. Get up right now. And as Carlos said, hit the like button on the way in. Let's see here. Carlos said he's been under the weather, man. I hope you feel better, man. Hope you got to shake it off. All right. I'm not going to sing that. I'm not gonna sing that. I told y'all Jared's everywhere. There's Jared right there, and I see him on Instagram as well. And then T Dog 19, my guy Trevor, what's up, man? He said I can't sleep, so I figured I would join before everyone wakes up. Hey, there you go. All right, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. So let's see here. We got a part of my job is to wake you guys up. So I appreciate everybody who's already up. You know, everybody can't be Eric Eccles, right? Eric wakes up so early, man. He wakes up as the bars are closing, and then he heads to work. So yeah, that you know, he sets a high standard, and there, in fact, there he is right now. Eric Eccles says, "Good morning, gentlemen. What's up, my man? Hope you're having a good day at work." Let's see here. Michael Brantley, who is officially up earlier than everybody else. We're all up at the same time, but it is like what, 3 o'clock in the morning for you, Mike? My man is up and at him, ready to go. Matthew Porter, what shout out to Porter Fizzette. What's up, man? Let's see here. Man who parks in gym. Bueno, hey, bueno, my man. What's up, Jace? Good to have you here, man. Let's see. T Dog says Ironmaster. Yeah, man. You know, we're doing what we can. We're doing what we can. You know, we've actually been working on getting the Ironmaster on here for a while, man. And I was like, man, I don't want to feel like I'm making empty promises to you guys, but look, we got to get, you know, we got to get these, make it happen. All right, Jonathan from No Fate 24/7 checking in. What's up, man? Let's go. Carlos said he give money for me to sing Shake It Off. Well, I'm going to help you save your pennies because it ain't happening. And my guy, Jake Jaworski, is here saying, what's up? What's up? Hey, what's up, man? Good to have you here. All right. So, hey, things are a little slow. I don't know what y'all doing. I don't know if it's spring break where you are, but it's showing that we have lower viewership than usual. All right. By this time, I normally have a lot more people. I need y'all to get, let's go. We need to spread. There we go. Now the numbers are going up. I can see how many people have joined. So now the numbers are going up like I like it to. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody share this video with people. Share the video link out. All right. My guy, Coach Carb, he said, yellow. What's up, man? How you doing, Eric? All right. So we got a lot going on as usual. I've said what's up to everybody in the live chat. So let's go ahead and dive into our first segment, which is news and other things. Let's go. Okay, so first news item of the day is Iron Bull Strength. You know, they teased their Frankenstein uprights. I didn't even know that that's what they were calling them. Well, I was calling them like the keyhole uprights because I didn't know what they were called. But they went live this week. And in fact, that is my cue for the first screen share of the day. That's right. That's right. Most popular. Yeah, I know y'all love it when I share my screen. Just hey, look, try to relax. I keep telling y'all, try to relax. We'll never get anywhere if y'all keep all that yelling up. All right. So let me go ahead but I will, as promised, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to screen share the Frankenstein uprights because I want to, you know, we can have the discussion about them right now. All right. So there we are on the Iron Bull Strength website. These are the Frankenstein uprights. Somehow or other, they managed to trademark Frankenstein. Or maybe they trademarked Frankenstein uprights. I'm not sure if the Mary Shelley, I don't know, family of Mary Shelley is too cool about them trademarking the name Frankenstein, but you know, whatever. I can't knock the hustle. All right, so they are apparently made to order, and they ship in 1 to 3 weeks from when you order them. They are $350 for a pair. So it was on set right now. All right. So yeah, so they're like $350 if you only want 2 of them. And then if you want the whole set, it's going to be $695 US. And US domestic shipping is included, by the way, at Iron Bull Strength for any orders that are over $150. So now Iron Bull Strength, full disclosure, is sending out a pair of these for me to test. And so I will let you guys know what I think of them. I mean, I think it's a good idea. It's golly, Flex Mark from Flex Marks the Spot. I got to give him credit for the idea. He and Joe Gray, they're the ones that got the ball rolling for this thing along with Frank from Iron Bull Strength. But I like the idea mostly because when Frank from Iron Bull Strength first told me about this, we were in Vegas at HFA, and I was saying, one of the things that I like the Iron Bull Strength PR2 rack, but one of the things that we don't like is I've got so many attachments that are set up for 1-inch holes. And it's annoying to have to like replace them. I mean, some of the stuff has like Garage Gym Life on it, so it's like one of a kind stuff. And he showed me this back in March. And I said, oh, so that way you can just kind of choose which hole you need depending on whether it's 5/8 or you have a 5/8 attachment or 1-inch. He's like, yeah. So, all right. So I was on board with the idea in principle, right? I can't say it's a good idea because I haven't tried it yet, but they're sending some of these out. They've already shipped. And so I will I'll give you guys a full report. We'll do a review of them on our YouTube channel once they actually come in, so I can tell you guys what I think. But that being said, something else that happened from Iron Bull Strength, and Frank told me this week. All right, everybody's aware of tariffs. Like everybody's a tariff expert right now. And hey, what's up, my guy Kurt Locker? It says late but present. Hey man, always good to have our representative from the Hair Force over here. You count down the days to retirement, so I ain't gonna get mad at you. You got to get used to waking up later anyway. You about to be a veteran of the United States military. You know what I'm saying? So ain't nothing wrong with that. I appreciate you being here. Eric said that a lot of people are probably sleeping in because they're off work for Good Friday. That is a good point. That's true. That's true. But anyway, so back to Iron Bull Strength. As I said, let me go ahead and stop sharing real quick because that's not relevant. So Frank from Iron Bull Strength said that they're making some changes, and he told me that he was okay with me sharing this with you guys. So basically, they're in the process of expanding their U.S. made product line, right? So barbells and casted products are going to be added to the things that they already make in the U.S., right? So they've got it. So let me back up. So Iron Bull Strength has a factory in Canada, and they manufacture a ton of stuff in Canada, but they're going to be making things using U.S. manufacturers to make certain items so that they can kind of sidestep the whole tariff issue, and which is good for us, right? Potentially. I don't know what that's going to have on pricing, because as we all know, things that are made in the United States tend to cost more than things that are made overseas, which is the whole reason companies manufacture overseas in the first place, right? But yeah, that is something that they're doing because they said they want to still have products available. But also interesting to me is that Frank said that they're bringing manufacturing back to Canada for most of their China-made support gear. So, Canada has tariffs with the U.S. as well, right? But they're nothing like the tariffs that are on China because, quite frankly, China has been in a trade war with the United States. I don't want to get political, but China has been in a trade war with the United States for years. I mean, Kurt, you've actually studied this more than I have, but we might at this point even be able to say they've been economically at war with the U.S. for decades, right? So that's going to heat up. It shows no signs of slowing down. So even if there's the tariff on Canadian products, it's not going to be as bad as what we would pay for something that a company has to import from China. So Iron Bull Strength is bringing back the things that first kind of like got them their start. So like support gear, like sleeves, wraps, and straps. Those are the products that most people associate with Iron Bull Strength. Well, they're in talks. They're bringing the manufacturing for all that stuff back to Canada, because you got to think about the profit margin for a knee sleeve is lower than the profit margin for a power rack. I mean, it's just because a knee sleeves cost less than power racks, if that makes sense. We got some comments here. Let's see here. T-Dog, Trevor, hey, he said DD214 Club. Hey, man, ain't nothing like that DD214. frame that thing. I got mine in the. It's actually still, believe it or not, I'm one of those nerds that still has his service record book. I still have my service record book in the filing cabinet, along with my medical record book, showing all the documenting the stuff that, service connected injuries or whatever. But yeah, ain't nothing like a nice DD214. I'm a fan. All right, but anyway, so as I said, this is something that we'll have to wait to see what the effect will be on pricing, but also on shipping times and product availability. Because once we're going to talk about this a little bit later on, but once companies run out of what's already in stock, then that's when you're going to see the real effect of tariffs on pricing, and it's going to slow things down, right? Trevor says, I have my book, his record book, on a thumb drive. You know what, man? That's because were you the one that thought I was younger than you? I'm trying to remember. I was interviewing somebody. They were like, no, it was somebody else. No, I'm sorry. So you got to think about it. I got out of the Marine Corps in 2008. I went into the Marine Corps in 1999. So, I mean, this is way into the weeds, but that's why y'all come here for tangents. My OMPF was on a CD. All right. So I couldn't even imagine trying to put a CD into anything to play it now, right? To be able to pull up your stuff for any kind of like hard drive, all right? That ain't gonna happen. So I still kept the paper copy because paper always works. But yeah, that's because that's how you think when you get to be in your 50s like me. Anyway, so as I said, that's the first news item. Iron Bull Strength is going to be moving a lot of their stuff over to the United States and to Canada. So, and that is, I would say, a side. Frank did not say this, but to me, it's got to be something that's related to tariffs. Carlos has jumped over to Instagram as well. He says, oh, hey, it's nice over here in the gram. Yeah, it's a nice place. Shout out to @ChrisRobinson10. What's up? Garage Gym D_DE. What's up? Appreciate you being here, checking it out. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. All right, now let's move on to the next news item. If you guys have any comments that you want to make about any of the news items, I know that we have some people who are watching the show for the first time. So if you have comments about any of the stuff that I'm saying, go ahead and post those comments in the comment section of whatever platform you're watching on, and I will go ahead and we'll throw them up on screen, or if they're on Instagram, I will read the comment and then respond to it. Okay. Dude, Carlos. So there you go. Carlos said none of my PCs have a disk drive. Dude, so we are bringing back to life my 1999 Jeep Cherokee, right? This is another tangent. And we get in the thing, and my daughter is like, she wants to play music. And I said, well, we got to get the radio working, right? And she said, well, just connect your Bluetooth, your phone to it. And I say, baby, this car was invented before Bluetooth. This car came, everything in this car is from before Bluetooth was invented. So that's not going to work. All right. We have to upgrade to all that. And that's just what I thought of. But yeah, it's got a CD player. I'm like, yeah, we ain't what I'm saying. I remember, well, heck, I'm old enough to remember floppy disks. Okay. So anyway, moving on. Yeah, kids these days, Carlos, I'm telling you, she was not happy. And then when she realized that we didn't have the little plug-in so that we could have Wi-Fi in the car like we do in our other cars, she was pretty much, she's like, hey, you can just let me out right here. I'll just walk home. She wasn't trying to hear. So, anyway. All right, let's move on to the next thing, the next news item. So I was finishing up show prep last night. And by the way, if my mic is too loud, it sounds like it's a little bit echoey. If my mic is too loud, you guys drop a comment and let me know, okay? I want to make sure that I don't that I'm not blasting out your eardrums. Hey, Heavy Metal Art, what's going on? Appreciate you joining. So anyway, but the next news item comes from Bells of Steel. So I was finishing up my show prep last night, and I literally was about to close the computer to shut everything down, and I saw an email pop up in my inbox. And it was, I mean, it wasn't like an email to just me. It's if you are on the newsletter mailing list. I hate it when people who do what I do get like a newsletter, like they're on an email distribution list and they get the email and they say, oh, yeah, well, I got an email. Like the way they phrase it makes it sound like they got an email personally from the president of the company. In this, so the thing I said about Frank and Iron Strength, that was an email personally to me. This next thing, this is an email that Bells of Steel sent out to their newsletter distribution list. Okay. I don't have any delusions of grandeur over here. Anyway, so I copied it and I'm going to show you guys this. So Jared, Jared says my audio sounds good. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Now, Jared, you probably already got this, and some of you guys also probably did as well. Let me go ahead and post this on here. All right. So in a nutshell, Bells of Steel released this statement because they want to educate their customer base about the impact of tariffs on their pricing. Now, we've already seen stuff like this from definitely Fringe Sport. Peter Keller was on here last month, or maybe it was 2 months ago, where he was talking about, he was like, hey, look, this is about to happen. And he was predicting what Fringe Sport was going to have to do as far as pricing. So, but, I'm glad to see other companies following suit and just being transparent. So as you guys can see, hopefully you guys can see this on screen. And I'm trying to get Kayvon back. Kayvon's a busy dude. Look what he's got to deal with. But I am trying to get him back on the show so we can finish up what we were discussing last time he was on, and then also talk about, tariffs and whatnot. But for right now, it said essentially any products that are not currently in stock at the U.S. warehouses for Bells of Steel are facing added costs. So specifically, any products that were previously on pre-sale or any large products that they are shipping from one of their Canadian warehouses. That's what's being affected primarily, right? So they have added transparent pricing to the Bells of Steel site, and Kayvon said that it clearly shows which products are impacted and exactly how much the reciprocal with tariff will add. So they said they're promising to continue with accountability and transparency with their reciprocal tariff pricing as things continue to change. So we already got comments coming in. So first of all, Jared said, so Jared and his wife won a gift card, said they won a gift card a while back. And I had a little urgency given the potential tariff stuff, so I went ahead and used it. That was a smart move. But I mean, to me, I knew, like when I saw this all happen, I was like, you know what? This is your chance to jump on stuff now, because number one, I knew that some companies would be offering discounts because they're trying to, they know that there's going to be more people rushing to buy stuff. But also there become, this is, even if you don't get a discount, it's like a discount because you're taking advantage of pre-tariff pricing, right? And tariff pricing won't go into effect until companies have to reorder, right? Hey, Maximus, what's up? Thanks for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. Good to have you here, man. Glad to have you here. We're getting so many new people here. And if you're watching on Instagram, do me a favor and let me know if you like this format, if you like having me on Instagram as well, because I want to know, I want to do the things that my audience wants to see. But yeah, anyway, so it's obvious. It's like the stuff that's already in the U.S. warehouses has already gone through whatever costs were import costs were associated. They're not going to get charged again. They get charged when they have to restock. And that's when that cost gets passed on to the consumer. Eric Eccles said, I like seeing the tariff thing on there because it's easy to just drop the charge off if it goes away. So I feel like if they increase the actual price, it will never go back down when tariffs are eliminated. So let me go ahead and I'm going to take this off for a second. And we're going to go to Bells of Steel. Okay. And let's see here. We'll go to Bells of Steel, the Bells of Steel website. This is the US website, all right? And we'll just pick out, I don't know, random thing. Let's go to, cable tower stand, all right? So I want to see, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'll share my screen. That way you guys can see it in real time. Shout out to the cable tower. It's one of our favorite products. All right. So now let's see, where does this tariff pricing go into play? Right? So it says $1199.99 US dollars. All right, cool. Got the weight stack. Let's see. Let's pick let's add the upright because that's what I have on mine. And now let's go add to cart. Okay, so let's add to cart. All right. Now let's go to All right. Now let's go to checkout. All right. So Garage Gym Life. All right. So here now. Estimated taxes. I do not see any tariff pricing. All right. I do not see any tariff pricing. So Eric, were you able to, you commented on it, were you able to see the tariff pricing? Or maybe that product wasn't impacted. So I didn't even think about that. Let's try that. All right. So let's see. Let's remove that because I'm definitely not going to buy something I already own. Let's go back. Subtract. Cart is empty. So let's try. And also that might be something that is shipping from the US warehouse. So let's go ahead and share the screen again because I want to see, they promised that this thing you got tariff pricing. So Eric, do you happen to know which products, like of a product that was affected? You know what? I think I know something because I think there'll probably be anything that's on pre-order. So let's go with rack attachments. Let's go. I think the Hydra is the one that has the Roller J cups, right? So let's go rack attachments. Let's just Roller J cups. All right. Roller J cups. All right. And that was on. So that's on. It's sold out. I'm trying to see like what's on pre-order. This is driving me nuts now. Because I want to see like what it actually looks like. Like I said, I got this email last night and I haven't seen anything that I haven't had time to see anything that would have been affected. So Jared said, try the seal row pad. Okay, let's try that. All right. This is why I like, by the way, there we go. We're not taking any quizzes right now. All right, so the seal row pad, let's go. Does it matter Hydra or Manicore? I'm assuming not, but let's just try Hydra, man. Let's go. Bam, let's go. All right, view details. So it says $209.99. View details. So pickup available at Indianapolis. So anything that's going to be at the Indianapolis showroom, I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so Manicore pickup currently unavailable. All right, so $239 for the seal row pad if it's the Manicore version. I don't see it. Let's try check availability. Pickup currently unavailable. Okay, so I know it's not there. So if I wanted to buy it, all right, let's try adding it to the cart now. Free shipping. All right, so add it to the cart and let's go to checkout. And let me see if it's on there now. So it's got my address in there for shipping, discount code, estimated taxes. Nah, it's still not showing it. Do you happen to have a All right, so Matthew said the Smith attachment has a tariff on it. All right, we're trying that again. We're not quitters over here, because I'm an American, not Americant. All right, so Smith machine. Rack attachment. Bam. Okay, yeah, there you go. Good looking out, Matthew. Shout out to Porter Phys Ed. All right. So there it is right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. So it says $1,044.99 US dollars, but then right below it, it says 800. It breaks it down. It says $819.99 plus a $225 tariff surcharge. So that's how that's going to work. And then that was a long way to go to simply just get to be able to actually see it. And I assume that that's how it's going to work for everything else that's got that associated. And as Eric said, I like seeing the tariff thing on it because you can just drop that charge off if it ever goes away. He says, I feel if they increase the actual price, then it will never go back down when the tariffs are limited, which is the fear that a lot of us have about this tariff situation. It's not, we all understand. Well, I understand, and a lot of us understand why it's happening. But the fear is once we get accustomed to the price of a thing being a certain amount, it's really hard for a business to say, okay, we're going to drop the prices back down unless there's market pressure for them to drop the prices back down. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good point. Trevor said, I'm waiting for HomeGymCon for any purchases. This slight tangent, but keep in mind that there are I saw it in the Home Gym Discord last night. HomeGymCon Discord, not Home Gym Discord. The HomeGymCon Discord last night. Jake has a list of things that are up for sale that you can buy. I think there might be display items, but if you are a member of the HomeGymCon Discord, then you'll see that list. But then there's also, if you go to the HomeGymCon website, there's also a list of, I think there's a contact list so you can see like what vendors will have, exhibitors will have available to sell there. So you can not only are you, I don't know what the situation will be for tax, but you also, at least you won't be worried about shipping. So that's a good idea. And Trevor says, I got stuff on my list, but there's nothing that can't wait a few months, and then most of these luxuries, not needs. Be honest with you, that's the truth, man. A lot of the stuff that I have or that it's on my radar is stuff that I want. I was telling somebody, we're blessed because in all reality, my home gym has been complete as far as needs since like 2008, maybe even before that. In fact, I say no, it was complete 2003. It was complete as far as needs. And everything then has just been like an upgrade to a nice to have version of what I already had. All right. Jared has a great question. He said, that's a great point about how Bells of Steel is being transparent like this. Are there any other companies that are going about it like this? I don't know the answer to that. If anybody knows of companies that are doing that sort of transparent pricing, please go ahead and put it in the comment section, put it in the chat on, wherever you're watching, because I would love to know. If you're watching on Facebook, by the way, I can't see because of how the StreamYard and Facebook work. I can't see your comments. So I'm not ignoring you, but if you're making comments, you'll need to check us out on Instagram, or better yet, go to YouTube so you can see the entire show and you'll be able to put your comments there, because I do want to add you to the discussion. All right. Hey, now the numbers are going up. We're still too low, though. We only got 352 of you guys watching. We need all y'all who are asleep, try to sleep in for Good Friday. I need you to get up and get active here in the chat. All right. I want to hear from you guys. I look forward to talking to y'all every Friday. So don't deprive me. And Carp said the used market seems to have picked up in the last couple of weeks pre-tariffs. Is it scare buying? I mean, you also have like Ashton from Freedom Fitness Equipment. Shout out to Ashton. Is saying, he pointed out that used gym equipment isn't affected by tariffs. So I think that we're going to see a situation that's similar to what happened in the pandemic, when people are going to be taking advantage of the used market, both in terms of selling stuff to earn extra cash to be able to afford what they want, and also in terms of being able to buy stuff without having to worry about tariff pricing. So yeah, I just hope we don't see any price gouging on the used market, because that was ridiculous for a little bit. All right, so let me finish out what was in Kayvon's email, and then I'll get back to the comment section. So One other thing, and this may be why I didn't see a lot of the products that I was looking for being affected, because Kayvon said one other thing they did is they stocked up the U.S. warehouses ahead of time once they saw the tariffs on the horizon. They're like, hey, this thing is coming. So they stocked up their California and Indianapolis warehouses ahead of time, which was a smart business move by Bells of Steel. They said, but once the units that are stored there are gone, then those items are going to be subject to the full impact of the tariff charges as well. However, I want to say, and then he had a link in the email. So if you are on the Bells of Steel newsletter list, you go, and if you're not, just go to Bells of Steel, bellsofsteel.us if you're in the United States, and sign up for the newsletter, and you'll be able to get it. But he's got a link for you to shop tariff-free gear. So there's that. Obviously, we have an affiliate link with Bells of Steel, and I'd love it if you use that. But I'd much rather, in this situation, I don't want to be like selfish. I want to make it easy for you guys to find stuff. So if you click, it's not going to hurt my feelings if you click the link that you got in that email newsletter to go shop. But if you do want to support us, you click our link and go, hey, I ain't mad at you either. All right. And they are giving a promo code, which might be the sketchiest promo code ever, but it's just sketchy looking. It's sorry tariff WJL63XCR. Use that at checkout. And that code expires April 25th at 11:59 p.m. So I just say that kudos to Bells of Steel. This is one of the reasons why I like them. Kudos to them for getting ahead of the curve. Shout out to Fringe Sport for also trying to be ahead of the curve a little bit, because that just shows something I said on LinkedIn when I was talking to somebody 2 days ago, is you need to pay attention to the brands that are taking care of their consumers, their customers at this time, and remember them when everything passes. When this passes, remember who took care of you. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Remember who took care of you. So let's see. All right, so let's. All right, Eric said he DM'd me what Carp sent me. So let me see if I can pull up. I've never actually tried to go on Instagram while live and go into my messages. So this is a voyage of discovery here. All right, so we got the photo. All right, so let's see. All right, we'll put this down here. So I see it. I see the DM. And so let's save it there. All right, let's close that. All right, and let me see if I can pop it up here for you guys to check it out. So right there. So this is what Eric just sent me. This is what Carp sent him. Shots fired. Wow. All right. So anyway, so yeah, on the seal row pad attachment, you can see the tariff surcharge underneath it. So there you go. All right. I appreciate that, Eric. Thanks for sending that to me. All right. Let's see. Is anybody over on Instagram chiming in here? All right. All right. Shout out to everybody to join. Barrett Strength, Christo X92. I cannot pronounce that, but shout out to you. You're from India. What's up? Basement Powerlifter joined. What's up, man? The Linchpin. Matt, Tattooed saying, what's up, man? All the way from the UK. J.A. Stevens joined. And Frank, what's going on, Frank? TTF Ray, a.k.a. Rips Ray. Good seeing you. All right. Thanks for joining the show. All right. Let's go back to here. And Matt's also here in StreamYard as normal. He says, good morning, USA. What's up, man? Good morning. And then Carp said, yeah, it's just like Peter talked about. When you think about it, it really is an indirect tax on the consumer, especially if they pass on to the consumer with surcharges. Like I said, I don't want to get political on it. This is one of those things where it's going to happen because, like I said, it's basically a trade war. We just weren't aware of it, and now it's starting to we're starting to feel the effects. As long as we don't get to the situation like it was in World War II, where they were like, hey, we're rationing sugar and butter. you know, we're gonna we can get through this. We'll get through. I mean, we got through literally we got through a pandemic where things were locked down. Everybody's talking about the economy was going to tank, and next thing I know, people are like buying up a storm, all this junk they didn't need on Amazon. So, you know, it is what it is. All right. So let me pick up the speed because we're running out of time, as we always do. So you guys have 2 days left to enter the homegrown lifting giveaway on Instagram. Now that I know that I can actually do this, let me go ahead. So you just need to visit their page at Homegrown Lifting. This thing expires on Monday. So if you want to jump on it, you need to jump on it. And let me go ahead and share the screen real quick so you guys can see it. But basically, they're giving away a home gym starter set for free. So they're giving away a free 700-pound capacity barbell, a half cage squat rack, 260-pound bumper plate set, and some clips. So this is made 100% made in the USA company. So you guys need to jump on it because the winner is going to be announced Monday, April 21st. I don't have time to go through the whole how you enter thing, but it's basically like an Instagram giveaway. I'm not getting paid to tell you all this. I'm just letting you know because I like what Will is doing over there and appreciate all the support he's shown the show. So just want to make sure you guys are aware of it because it might help one of you guys get started. All right, so let's go ahead. So go to @homegrownlifting on Instagram and jump on it and just follow the instructions and you'll be eligible for that giveaway. All right, next item, scroll on through. This one I definitely want to talk about before we get to our Recliner of Rage. So this is a better, I have very low expectations whenever I see any kind of article on the internet that is related to home gym stuff, right? I have very low expectations, but I was surprised when on Monday I saw this article. It is a much better than expected article about home gym equipment. Of course, it's titled "The Best Home Gym Equipment at a Glance." So when I saw, and this is like MSN.com, so of course I'm like, yeah, whatever, right? All the atrocities you guys have committed related to home gym stuff. But I say, all right, I'll read it. So I started reading it, and I'm gonna skip all the stuff. If you guys want to read it, I'll put the link in the video description on YouTube for you. But what I care about is the equipment they selected is actually not that bad. In some cases, I think it's good. So they have a list. It's like, okay, what? And these are all links. I'm assuming these are links that are related to driving money to them. So I'm assuming these are all affiliate links. All right. I'm not getting paid anything, but somebody is, obviously. So the Bells of Steel Manicore 6-post power rack is what they call the best power rack. I have never seen Bells of Steel. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I've never seen one of these articles where they list Bells of Steel. It's always going to be like Rogue or something else like that, right? And so they list the Bells of Steel Manicore 6-post as the best rack for a home gym. They said the best treadmill is the Nordic Track commercial. Okay. I'm a big fan of the Spirits XT385. That's one I have downstairs. But Nordic Track has got a solid choice as well. They said the best rower is the Proform 750. I would say that depends on the kind of rowing you do, but okay, not mad at it. Of course, they said the best bike is Peloton. Best dumbbells. They said Iron Bull Strength Rubber Hex dumbbells. That threw me off guard. Bells of Steel is like, okay, I can see that. Bells of Steel is, they're kind of known for home gym equipment. When I saw that they were recommending the Iron Bull Strength Rubber Hex dumbbells, I'm like they just started doing that. They just started making like Rubber Hex dumbbells like that, So I was actually shocked. And I saw these Rubber Hex dumbbells at HFA in person, and they are I will vouch for them. They are very, very nice. I like them. The best, keeping it going. They said the best smart gym is the Beyond Power Voltra. Who thought who was expecting Beyond Power Voltra to be mentioned on MSN.com, which is one of the most generic websites out there, right? So shout out to them for that. And then they said that the best barbell, I don't know about all that. but they said the best barbell is the Major Fitness home gym barbell. Okay, I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying, in my opinion, nah. Okay. Major Fitness has taken great strides in improving the durability quality of their products. In fact, shout out to them. They just sent my son a power rack. And he's excited about using it. So, shout out to them for that. But I'm going to say, if I'm going barbell shopping, I'm probably not going to shop at the Major Fitness store. But nevertheless, the fact that they even knew Major Fitness, they're being mentioned on MSN. Shogun Sports Nordics is being mentioned on MSN as the best Nordic bench. And they said that Rep Fitness has the best iron plates. That's nothing, nothing whatever, but I'm just saying I'm surprised. So Carp said Major Fitness paid for that. Hey, they might have, but the Voltra, you think? I mean, I think I saw the Voltra at HFA, so it was there with like among all the commercial stuff, but so I don't know what their budget is, but I'm just saying I was surprised. All right, so there you go. All right, now for those of you who are watching on Instagram, this is a voyage of discovery for you. You're not familiar with it. And shout out to all 350 of you guys who are watching on the other platforms. Appreciate you guys getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. It is now time for the most popular segment of the show, and that's where y'all get to laugh at me. All right, it's time for, that's right, Recliner of Rage. Let's go.
It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, because he's not happy.
But absolutely correct, I'm not happy, okay? Today's Recliner of Rage is dedicated to the aging process. So, first of all, and those of you on Instagram saw this, I've also put this on YouTube Shorts, but I've started a no assistance gear training block, right? So no wrist wraps, no knee wraps. I don't wear knee wraps anyway, but no wrist wraps, no knee sleeves, no belts. Basically, I'm lifting the way that I did from when I started lifting in 1993 to roughly 2005, because after that, I knew I wanted to compete in powerlifting, and I started getting powerlifting gear, right? So anyway, I was like, let's just go. And then also we're doing like, the volume is considerably higher than what I'm accustomed to. So it's like a pyramid. So when I say I'm lifting the way I did back in the day, I'm saying I'm lifting the way back when I was in my 20s and 30s. Pyramiding up. So let's say for bench press, first set is 135 for 10, right? 135 for 10, then 155 for 10, then 225. I think I have it down for like 9, then 245 for 7, and then my top set is whatever for 5. Okay, and it's the same thing with squat, with everything else. So first week went well, although I will say delayed onset muscle soreness was real. It was a thing. I had to start logging in some extra time with my Normatec Elite compression boots. Shout out to them for making that product. But yeah, that was last week. This week, life started lifing immediately, and this is where the rage is going to start building, right? So I couldn't train upper body on Monday like I was supposed to. So I said, well, I'll just combine squat and bench. First, I was like, well, let me just shift everything forward. That won't really work. So let me combine squat and bench on Tuesday, and then I'll do like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I'll go from a 4-day work training, 4 days a week of lifting. I'll switch to a 3-day-a-week lifting. No big deal. All right. But by the time I got everything, we're having work done on our house. My Jeep is in the shop. So life is lifing, right? And everything else didn't stop either. So by the time I got everything to do done that I needed to do on Tuesday, that didn't work either. So I said, all right, fine. Wednesday it is. We're going to go Wednesday. We're going to go Saturday. All right. But again, I got a lot going on, and I seriously couldn't start training until after midnight. So it ended up being a Thursday workout. So I'm mad about that. Let's just start there, okay? But I'm like, you know what? I'm a man. Let's go. We're going to do this, all right? It's after midnight. I'm a man. I'm not like everybody else, okay? We're going to go. We're going for it. We drink the pre-workout. We're going and put on, a motivational T-shirt. Let's get down there and get after it, all right? I got active. So I start the workout session. I'm fully intending to hit the same numbers that I had planned. But after my top set of squats, remember all that volume I told you about? Okay, my legs were fried. I was like, hey, whatever. I'm about to bench press. I do that laying down. Okay, that's all the rest you need. Lay down. I'm a man. All right, I'm a dang United States Marine. You understand? All right, back up off me. I got ribbons from going to war. All right, so let's go. I'm still feeling good. The pre-workout has me lying to myself. You heard all the stuff I just said? Well, that's pre-workout generated, okay? Pre-workout has me lying to myself. Then during the second to last set of bench, my legs tapped me on the shoulder and notified me that they were heading upstairs. And I've been finishing the rest of the workout without any leg drive on the bench. Okay? So I'm just telling you. They said, hey, we out. Hey, you don't have to stop, but I'm just letting you know, both legs are leaving. They're going upstairs, so there'll be no leg drive for the remainder of this training session. I said, you know what? The smart thing to do, full disclosure, the smart thing to do would have been to either cut the workout right there. So, okay, I'm done. That's ideal. Or next best thing, drop the planned weight for the final set. But I did neither. I did neither thing. Okay? After all, I was wearing my shirt that said, do the work. And besides, that's what heroes do. So that's how we arrived at what you're about to see next. Yeah. That right there. Getting set up, air. And I thought about it. Nope. Oh, okay. All right, we try some. Yeah, okay. That right there. Then So for those of you who've seen Game of Thrones, right now what's going through my head is shame, shame, shame. I'm still thinking like, how do I salvage this? How do I salvage this? And the answer is, yay, get up. Let's go. I got to figure out how to get out of it. Let's get up. Shameful. Come on now. I even get up like I'm in my 50s. Okay. So that's how we arrived at that. Now, I did salvage it, and those of you who are members of our YouTube channel, members of the tribe, so you pay the 99 cents a month or whatever to see the content that the rest of the public doesn't see, that's you guys can see the entire video, the entire workout, right? But the point is, that was an abject failure. Now, if I was wearing, that's 315. That's not even heavy. So that's a weight that with wrist wraps and leg drive, that's at least a triple for me, right? When I'm competing in powerlifting, 315 is opener. Okay. So I'm throwing my hands up. I'm not blaming anybody else. I'm throwing my hands up and I'm saying, hey, mistakes were made. I made decisions based upon what I could have done in the years before the world changed and back when my nervous system was young. But I'm telling you, we are coming back for a rematch on Monday. Mark my words, there will be a reckoning. Okay? There will be a reckoning. Okay? I'm just telling you that now. Hey, look. Hey, Jamon said, Cersei, no. Hey, I'm telling you, look, man, I'm telling you, shame. Matt said, Tattoo says, I just sent you a video of me getting trapped to make you feel better. No, I won't. I'm not happy because other people failed. I'm mad because I failed. I want to be, what would make me happy is if I didn't fail and you did, and I could be like, oh, well, man, then I could give you advice. But now I'm just like, well, I failed too. No, ain't nobody happy about that. No. Monday, hey, just like winter, Monday is coming to keep the Game of Thrones thing going. Monday is coming. All right. Trevor said, where's the Jacked? Isn't Jack 3D banned? That stuff has been banned. I'm not about to put that stuff in my body. I'm trying to think like however many decades it's been since they banned that stuff. Ain't no way. Let's see here. So I see you guys are having a lively IPF sleeves conversation. That's actually something we're going to be talking about with Jack Brimhall when he comes on at the 9 o'clock Eastern hour. Because he did a video. He's one of the people who did a video responding to it. So yeah, that's the topic we're going to talk about then. And I'll share my thoughts at that time. Carlos said, face it, you're old, Graham. I know, man. Hey, there every now and then I get notified that, you know, my glory days are over. But they're not. They're not. We just got to make adjustments. Okay? We just got to make adjustments. That's it. That's all I'm saying. All right. Let's see here. Kurt says, I'm confused. Is he Recliner of Raging at his pecs? No. First of all, I'm mad about getting, well, I'm not mad about getting older because the alternative is not getting older. And since Peter Pan isn't real, that's, you know. But I'm saying I'm mad at the fact that my schedule did what it did to me. And then I'm kind of mad at myself, to be honest with you, because I should have made better decisions. I've been doing this junk since 1993, as I said, so I should know better. Oh, well. Let's see here. Trevor said, not all heroes wear capes. That's right. The best ones are bald and have Garage Gym Life pullover polos. I know, Matt, it's not that I'm not going to watch the video. He says, honestly, I was trapped by 40 kilograms. It's hilarious. Oh, no, I'm going to watch the video, and I'm going to laugh at you as if nothing, like I haven't even experienced this myself. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. All right. So anyway. All right. So it is now 6:56, and we have reached the point in the show where it is time to say goodbye to Instagram. It's not that the show is ending. The show is not ending. We're going to keep the party going on YouTube and on Facebook, and we'll be adding LinkedIn in a little bit. But due to Instagram platform constraints, I can't, you know, I have to end it now because there's a time limit for Instagram. So what we're going to do is, if you guys would like to keep on checking out the show, I hope that this was enough for you guys to realize that this is a good time. We got a lot more content that's still going to be going. So I invite you guys to join us over on the Garage Gym Life Media YouTube channel. The link to that is in my Instagram bio. We still have our guests from Ironmaster and Brimhall Barbell Club coming up. Plus, we have a few more segments. So I hope to see you guys there. Okay? So anyway, thank you for joining, and we'll see you guys next week. If you got to go, I understand. So those of you on Instagram, we will see you next week. I invite you to get up way too early with Garage Gym Life again. We'll be joined by Thick and Fit Avengers, and we'll have another awesome show for you. But for right now, we will see you guys later. Those of you who are on YouTube and on Facebook and all that, you stay right there. We just got to say goodbye to Instagram real quick. All right. So there we go. Doing that. And it's there. And there we go. All right. Close that tab. Boom. All right. And let's see it. Okay. So there we go. All right. So we've just ended the stream over on Instagram. And now we are here. Like I said, it's just us here, the original crew on YouTube, on Facebook, and whatnot. All right. Carp, I think you're making some good points. I'm gonna actually star your comments about this. And let's see here. I think these are some good. This is a pretty good. So that was actually, I'm going to pull this up real quick. So Matt's question that sparked the discussion is that the IPF have banned all sleeves except SPD. So does that mean that all world record lifts not in SPD are now unofficial, no longer count? I wouldn't say so, because and I think that's what Carp said also, because they were approved at the time. So you can't go back and disqualify a lift. So let's see. Let's remove that. Boom. All right. So anyway, but yeah, that's an interesting discussion that, like I said, we'll have later on. All right. So let's star all that. All right. Now let's scroll on down. So question for Jack, favorite bike and favorite barbell. All right. Let's throw that in there. I'll star that so we don't lose that as well. All right. Now, for those of you, so it's 6:59. Let's go ahead, and it's not too early. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to the Central Time Zone. Shout out to the Central Time Zone. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. If this is your first time checking out the show, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe, because I want to. First of all, it helps the show grow, and also it helps the channel grow. We've been getting a ton more views on YouTube from YouTube recommendations, from the YouTube homepage, and that is all, it's all tied to the fact that you guys are sharing the show link. Okay. So do me a favor, keep on, hit the like button, that helps the algorithm, hit subscribe, that helps us grow, and then share the link with other people who you think might enjoy this content. And if you would like to see all the behind the scenes content that I was talking about, then you guys can click the join button. Once you subscribe, there's a join button. Click that join button, and for 99 cents a month, you're supporting the channel and getting us closer to our ultimate goal of being sponsored by our viewers and not by anybody else. And it also gives you access to content that we don't publish to the general public, as well as getting early access to all of our video uploads. Okay, so it's, like I said, it's 99. It's less than $12 a year. Okay, and so we appreciate all of your support. All right, now let's see here. Oh, one more. I'm trying to do a better job about this the ad stuff. So as I was talking about Bells of Steel, if you're watching on YouTube, just click that shopping button that's in the bottom corner of the video. It's gonna allow you to check out a lot of the products that we mentioned here during the show. You can also use our affiliate link that's in the video description of YouTube. I also made a post on our Facebook page with it. So that link takes you to Bells of Steel, and you can then take advantage of, you can pick out any products you want from their collection. And what it does, if you use that link, is it basically just gives us credit for directing you to go there, and you guys can still take advantage of the discounts that they're offering. If you don't know what you want to get from there, you've never been there, my suggestion is check out their bare naked powerlifting bar. It's my favorite bar for any kind of pressing movements and for squatting. Bells of Steel Blitz indoor cycle. It's my wife's go-to for cardio. And then, of course, we have the Bells of Steel cables tower with the stack, and that's like our favorite right now. Okay, so let's see here. So Trevor said, you got to get out of here. I appreciate you being here, man. He said the family's up. Hey, they're more important than we are, dude. Go ahead and hang out with them. Thanks for getting up way too early, especially on Good Friday. But he says, can you ask Ironmaster if there are any new attachments for the super bench in the pipeline? Definitely will, man. Let me go and throw that in there. So I've got that start. And yeah, I won't forget that. So yeah, just come back and check it out. I know you always do. So just come back and during the replay, you'll see the answer to your question. All right. Now there was one more thing that I wanted to talk about, and then we're gonna go to react to respond. So AdMat is having a flash sale on the pivot pad. So let's go ahead. Let's get rid of that. So let's go to the pivot pad here. You guys probably already are familiar with the pivot pad, but right there. So this pivot pad looks like they're having a sale. This sale expires on Sunday, April 20th. And the thing about the pivot pad, if you're not familiar with it, is it turns any barbell into a height adjustable hip thrust station. So you guys can see right there. That's basically how it works. Before we got our dedicated hip thrust bench, my wife and I were actually looking at that because we liked. Like she does them, I don't, but she liked how easy and user friendly this is. It's really simple to put on. You see that there's a little groove, and that groove goes on the barbell. It feels good at home gym. The first HomeGymCon, we got to try it out, and it feels good on your back. It feels very comfortable. So yeah, it's that's how it goes in the barbell. The barbell goes onto it. That makes no sense. That's how it goes onto the barbell. Yeah, there you go. And like I said, and it works out really well. So again, this all you got to do is go to admat.com, go to the product section. The pivot pad you'll be able to find the pivot pad, and it's on sale until Sunday, April 20th. So this is a flash sale. But they also said that you could use code GLUTEGAINS. So I'm not sure if that's going to cut the price even more, but hey, you don't lose anything by trying. So there you go. All right, that is that for that. All right. Now let's scroll on down. We are going to be live from HomeGymCon. I keep telling you guys because I really do want you guys to be there in the audience. We are having that giveaway. Do me a favor, go, and if you're going to be there, even if you're running like a competition there, the show's going to be over well before HomeGymCon even starts. So if you're going to be there, go sign up to be in the audience. I don't care if you show up, hang out, and heck, if you win something and then leave, hey, I'm not mad at you. I just want people to be there in the audience because I want to see all of you guys in person. I think that there's a certain power and community that we'll get from having all of us together. So the link to sign up is in the video description. It's in my Instagram bio. There's a lot of places I just mentioned it in the HomeGymCon Discord. Lots of ways for you guys to get that link. And I want to see you guys on the Friday of HomeGymCon. That morning before HomeGymCon starts, we're going to be there doing the show live with an in-person audience. And I'm super excited. I want to see all of you guys there. So, okay. Carb said, I just used it last night with the hip thrust pad. He said it's a good combo. Okay. So you like the pivot pad. All right. Well, that's a vote for the pivot pad right there. All right. Now, we got that. We're all caught up. Now it's time for react and respond. So first thing is, and I want to say this because I wanted to say it before Carp has to get out of here. So I have a new playlist on YouTube, and it's dedicated to helping you guys get watch time on your videos. So for those of you who don't know, I haven't really talked about it a whole lot, but I had a playlist. What I do in my watch later playlist is I would watch you guys stuff like on the treadmill. So let's say Kurt does a video, right? I'll put it in my watch later, and then when I'm on the treadmill, I just watch it, right? And same thing with No Fate. Jonathan does a video. I watch it on the treadmill. It's in the playlist. So I had the playlist, but my watch later playlist is private because it doesn't just have stuff like that. It's also got other stuff. I mean, it's not secret, but it's just, I don't think it's interesting. So, and also because I don't want to clutter up my YouTube too much, right? But I decided that specifically for the purposes of helping get you guys more watch time, because I said that one of my objectives is to help you guys grow. I said, let me just create a playlist so people can see what I'm watching. And if they want to watch it as well, they can. So it's called Watch What I'm Watching. And I basically go on there and I watch and comment on whatever videos are on that playlist. It gives me something to watch while I'm on a treadmill. And I can also listen to it as if it were a podcast while I'm doing chores around the house. So it's nothing for me to like have one of y'all's videos up while I'm doing laundry or something, right? So currently on the list, I actually just added this one, is Carp's Nighthawk Bench Review. Other videos I have on there. No Fate's Nighthawk Bench Review is on there as well. I actually already commented on that one, but I left it on because what I do is I leave the videos on for an entire week so people have time to watch it. And then the next week I reload with other videos, right? I got Kevin from Home Gym Gains. I have his squat shoes review on there. I've also got the Rogue FM6 review from Thick and Fit Adventures. So that's part of like me researching them, but it's also, like I said, they have a new channel. I think they only got like 600 subscribers. So it's part of helping get watch time for that stuff, even though their videos are doing okay. But still, you always use more watch time, right? And then also I have Carp's Gym Tour that he did with Onan. So as a viewer, if you're not familiar with YouTube playlists for some reason, you go on the playlist, you can skip around and watch what you want, or you can just, just watch the whole thing and let it play straight through, which is what I do. So here's what matters. Carp, Kurt, anybody who's watching this who is a home gym content creator on YouTube, first thing, you got to follow me on Instagram for this to work, but you can DM me on Instagram or message me on LinkedIn, and I'll give you the invite link that will let you add your videos to the playlist. Because I don't always know when you guys have videos coming out. Don't tell me about the notification bell. Like, just, yes, the notification bell, great. I want you to click it, but realistically, once you've subscribed to more than say 10 channels, that notification bell becomes a nuisance. Because can you imagine if all 10 of those channels posted a video at the same time? You still start getting notifications. What if you subscribe to 100 channels and they all post a video at the same time? Now you get notified about all of them at once. Nah. So notification bell doesn't work for me. So what I'm saying is, if you guys want to have your video, you make content for YouTube that's home gym related, and you want to have it included in the playlist, just message me on Instagram and I'll get you the link and you guys can post here. So I also know that there are a lot of content creators who watch who don't ever comment. Like, they're kind of lurking. I'm looking at you, BJ. I'm looking at you. But if you want to be part of that as well, like I said, this is more for you guys. I wish I could do more, but I'm always cognizant of the fact that when I was trying to get established, a lot of times people weren't willing to help me, and I swore I was not going to be like that. So that's pretty much it. So you guys let me know if you think this is a good idea or not. You can tell me now what you think of it. If you're not into it, then hey, we'll let it ride for a couple of weeks. And if you guys aren't into it, then I'll just get rid of the playlist and move on to, the rest of my life. But, I hope that this is something that will be helpful to you guys. Okay. All right, moving on. So if you guys are watching on replay, by the way, you can still put a comment in the comment section and let me know what you guys think of that. All right. Next item is the dialed motion leg roller foot plate. So some of you guys have probably already seen this, but for those of you who have not, I'm going to screen share it right now. And right here. All right, so slide this over here. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen real fast. Boom. All right, so this is they have two videos about this actually. So this is it's an update to their previous leg roller foot plate design. I'm not going to turn the audio on, but basically this thing, you can flip it upside down, so you can use it as a for like Bulgarian split squats, or to just do couch stretches. As you guys can see right there, you can use it as a foot plate for like low cable rows. You can also, this was one of the questions I saw, you can also detach them to use the leg rollers by themselves, or to get the plate out of the way for like lat pull downs. It's got a spring-loaded pin, so you can adjust your plate angle. You just saw that for low rows. And they say it's got UHMW plastic. Not sure if it's actual UHMW or if it's HDPE, but you get the idea. It's there to protect the inside of the unit. That's what he's talking about right there. It protects the rack and the inside of the unit. And apparently you can swap the spring, so you can mount it, the spring pin, so you can mount it on either the left or the right side of your rack. And then they're saying that they plan to, right now it's smooth, but they plan to make the plate surface diamond pattern. So what do you guys think of, let's see, what do you guys think of that, of this thing from Dial Motion? Oh, okay. So Carp said that he likes the idea of the watch what I'm watching. Hey man, dude, like I said, sometimes I'm just brainstorming, like, hey, what can I do? Because I'm always asking you guys, hang on a second, let me stop screen sharing for a second. So I'm always asking you guys, hey, do this, share my videos, watch, like, subscribe, hey, become a channel member. I feel like I need to also do stuff for you. That's, relationships are reciprocal, right? And, if I'm asking you to support me, how can I not support you? I just don't feel like that's right. So yeah, Joe does that with his newsletter, and Jake does that with Neural News. So yeah, definitely. So this is just an easy way for me to do it. And it's like where you guys are telling, like, the other thing I like about this is once I give you the link, you can add stuff without me being a filter, right? Now, if there's some, I will still see the playlist. So if I see some out of pocket stuff on there, I'll still take it. I'll still take it off. But this way, you don't have to wait. Because I mean, like, what if I'm asleep, and you make a video and you want, or whatever, you want it to be up there, that way you don't have to wait for me to look at it. It kind of cuts down on the approval process. Although, as I said, I do still see it. So if somebody puts something out of pocket on there, I can still go back and remove it. But I just feel like this is a convenient way. And it's not something I see people doing as far as YouTube videos a whole lot. So there you go. All right. So now back to sharing the screen for the dial motion thing. What do you guys, like I said, you guys are into dial motion a whole lot more than I am. So is this something that, you guys are into? Like, what do you guys think of this? My main thing is I like the idea of the thing in general, but I personally wouldn't put it on my rack. I would put it. So let me back up. Because my wife and I both use the gym, sometimes we use the gym at the same time, having too many attachments on our rack is actually detrimental because we get in each other's way. So I would put something like this on our cable stack, on our cable tower. I wouldn't put it on my power rack. So for me, this wouldn't work until I get. I'm waiting for Bells of Steel to release the 3x3 version of their cable tower, and then I'll be able to use stuff like this product from Dial Motion to be, because otherwise, if I put it on what I have now, it won't fit. You know what I mean? It won't fit. So that's what I think about. That's you guys. Yeah, Jared says, great idea. Doesn't look like a need for me, but I certainly appreciate innovation. Yeah, and so, I mean, I think if you're somebody who either you're the only one using the gym or you and whoever else is using the gym use the gym at different times, then it's a great idea. But once you get 2 or more people using the gym at the same time, let me say that. Unless you're working out together. I don't mean like working out at the same time. There's a difference. I'm saying like you're working out together. So I'm benching, you're benching, right? I'm squatting, you're squatting. Then obviously we're not in each other's way because we're both doing the same things. But once you get to the point where you have multiple people using a home gym that are doing different workouts, they're going to get in each other's way if everything's on the rack. So that's just my thing. Matt said that would destroy my shin because I walk into it. Well, I mean, it's detachable, so you're supposed to store it. You're not supposed to store it on the rack, Matt. You're supposed to put it somewhere else. That's what you got wall storage for, Matt. Come on, Matthew. Come on, Matthew. Like as your mom said last week. So have I seen the early pics of the 3x3 all-in-one from Bells of Steel yet? So no, but also in terms of space, I'm not really at this point. The all-in-one functional trainers don't work for me because that takes away from the space from my heavy bag. Because I mean, even right now, where my cable tower is, it's kind of in the way of the heavy bag, which is why I'm looking at getting the mount for my power rack. I just finished saying I don't want a whole bunch of stuff attaching to the power rack. In this case, though, it works because I can just make sure that I hit the bag when my wife is doing her workout and using the cable tower, so I'm not in her way. But yeah, it's like where we hang the heavy bag is like right where the functional trainer would go, and that ain't gonna work for me. So I see it. So I haven't seen it. I do want to see it, but it just doesn't work for my situation. You said giving flashbacks. All right. Deep voiced one. What's up? Said, good morning, John. You got Matt Dawson in the house. Said, got my OG IMs around 15 years ago now. Okay. All right. All right. What's up, man? We'll be bringing you live in a little bit. The deep voice one. That's the dang truth. I heard your voice. I said, oh, I might have to cancel this. You're about to come on my show having a more melodious voice than me. Let's see here. Jared says, are we going to get a brief overview of Ironmaster products before the show? So it's been a while since I reviewed them. We're going to talk about Ironmaster products during the interview. But yeah. All right. And okay. So let me go ahead and I'll stop sharing this. So that was the dialed motion leg roller foot plate. Also, they are still taking feedback on that foot plate. So I'll share that link with anybody who wants it. Or if I get enough interest, I'll share the link in the video description so you guys can go check it out. And all you have to do is just put your comments because they're taking feedback on the actual Instagram video. And they said the pre-order will be available soon. Okay. Now, let's see. We got plenty of time for this. So I wanted to talk about this last week, but we didn't have time. This is Giant Lifting's Vertex. Okay. So, look, man, I'm not here to. I've got one critical issue with the Giant Lifting Vertex. So this thing says, I feel like I'm always trashing Giant Lifting, and I don't mean to. So the the Vertex all-in-one power rack. All right. So, and if you guys know the answer to this, please tell me. So it says it's a 2x3 11 gauge steel. Okay. However, that's what it said when I saw the email from the emails newsletter. However, when I go on the website, it says front uprights are 11 gauge steel, 2x3. I'm sorry, 2.3 by 2.3. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the roofers have arrived and they're hard at work. So nobody's fighting in my living room. That's just the roofers putting the roof back on my house. Putting a roof on my house. So if you guys can hear that, I apologize. If you can't hear it, pretend I didn't say anything. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. So this thing says it's 11 gauge steel, 2.3 by 2.3, which is not the same thing as saying it's made out of, the entire thing is made out of 11 gauge steel. So I'm looking at this image here, and I guess the front uprights are right here. I would presume that's what 11 gauge steel. Well, what's the rest of it made out of? That's what I want to know. What's the rest of this made out of? Because I would like for the rest of the unit to be sturdy as well, right? I don't understand that. All right. So if anybody knows the answer to that, if anybody knows the answer to that, please put it in the chat. And if anybody from Giant Lifting would like to come on the show and talk about any of your products, hear good things about you guys' strap bar and all that, you have an open invite. I would love to have you guys on, but I just don't understand how you could say why the email says 11 gauge steel, but then on the website it says, well, only the front uprights are 11 gauge steel. What is that? What is that all about? What's the rest of it made out of then? Okay, that's all I want to know. Is it just asking? I just need I don't know everything. I want clarification. That's all I'm asking. All right. All right. Moving on to the next item, and this one is a fun one for me. Matt says, until proven otherwise, is now unofficially made of cardboard. Dude, I'm saying, like, does that make any sense? I've never seen like a website where it says, oh yeah, well, part of this is made out of 11 gauge steel, but then it doesn't tell you what the rest of it is made out of. I just don't understand that. Maybe I'm just not sophisticated enough. All right. Okay. Matt says, let's false advertising, let's collectively sue and become millionaires. Hey, that class action, class actions only make the attorneys rich. Everybody else gets like $1, and the attorney gets gets to be a millionaire. That's how they afford their suits and their fancy cars. All right. Now this one is a fun one that I just saw this morning. And I want to react to it because, you know, react and respond isn't always a bad thing, right? So I want to give a shout out to @FitMom in the Garage. She officially wins most accomplished person before noon. All right. So I'm going to show y'all this. I'm going to screen share this right here. You guys, shout out to her. Make sure that you guys are following her on Instagram. So this is, so look, 7 a.m. breakfast, 8:30 a.m. All right. Look at it. Cooking up a storm. All right, cool. Homeschool lessons at 9:30. All right. She's the mama of 3 boys. Workouts, going into the workout at 10:30. Laundry. Okay. Workout start at 10:50. Okay. Did y'all see all that? We're watching this more than once. And look at my man over there living his best life. Shout out to him. Look at my man's living his best life. Then there's a toddler tantrum. Now we're cleaning the garage. But seriously, coffee at 7, breakfast at 8:30. Okay. So if you're drinking coffee at 7, that means you're up already. Homeschool lessons at 9:30. Go to the gym. Do laundry. Start your workout 10:50. And then hanging out with the kids. Because what she doesn't mention, but what I noticed, because I'm a trained professional, is this is the kids, because the kids are homeschool, right? So this is PE. This is, even the dog gets to hang out. I mean, that's it. That's all I can do. That's it. Matthew says, dude from RoboCop bought everything for $1. I'm sure we can still do that. I don't think they works like that. I'm thinking it works like that. Kevin, what's up? Hey, Kevin, I'm going to repeat something that I said since you just joined. I have a new playlist, and I got one of your videos on there. Your squat shoes video is on there. If you would like to be part of the playlist, what you have to do is just shoot me a DM, or, well, you have my number on WhatsApp, so you can send me a message on WhatsApp. And what I'll do is I'll send you the link, because it's called Watch What I'm Watching. And this is to help you guys get views on your videos, right? So it's a playlist on my channel, but you guys will get the watch time on your videos. I don't get any watch time if it's your video, right? So just DM me and I'll give you the link so that you guys will be able to start putting your videos in that playlist without me having to do it. Because that way, if you put a video out that I don't know it's out yet, you can put it on that playlist, and number one, I'll see it, but then everybody else who's a subscriber to my channel will see it as well. And hopefully we get you guys some more watch time and more subscribers. So just let me know if that is what you want to, if you're interested in jumping on that. Hey, shout out to the 919 of you guys who are jumping on. I guess Eric was right. People are sleeping a little bit. So appreciate you guys getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. Thank you for being here. And while you're here, go smash the like button for me and hit subscribe. Okay? Because we gotta get things rolling here. Want to help the channel continue to grow and want to increase the popularity of the show. We're starting to get a lot more traffic just from YouTube recommendations and from the YouTube home screen, and that is because you guys are liking, you're subscribing, and you're sharing the video, the YouTube video link. So I appreciate you guys for that. Please keep it going. Let's see here now. 7:30. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, that's what else I needed to do. So go to my community tab. It's time to go check out comments from you. Comments from you guys. All right. So let's go ahead and share the screen. All right. So first things first. See if there's anything. That's the first thing we always got to do is check and make sure that I haven't missed anybody's comment. All right. You know, YouTube is very good about getting stuff, about taking stuff and making it so nobody ever sees it. So All right, right there. All right, stop sharing. That reminds me that I need to play this before you guys can play this before you guys will see it. So let's see here. All right, so there we go. So share the screen now. Now we share the screen. All right, I want to get you guys' reaction to this. I'm responding to a comment that I saw on YouTube on my channel. Somebody had purchased a product, and then they noticed we had a review on it, and their comment was that they regretted buying it because they bought it based upon what they had seen from online reviewers, got it to their house, and it doesn't fit their body proportions. It's not comfortable for them, and now they're trying to figure out how to return it. So to avoid that sort of buyer's remorse, I recommend as much as possible trying stuff in person before you buy it. That's why if you're sitting at home gym for the first time, I want you to buy local. Go to Play It Against Sports, go to Fitness Depot, Fitness Factory Outlet, somewhere local, and buy stuff in a budget conscious way. And then once you have that stuff and you're able to actually just start working out, then you start setting money aside for the gym of your dreams at your house. And I normally don't do this, but I'm responding to a comment. Okay, y'all don't need to watch it twice. I invite you, if you want to go watch it twice. It's on my channel in the YouTube short section. All right, so for some of you guys, that's like a first one is like, I know it's probably weird for somebody who does online reviews to tell you not to use online reviews when you're buying equipment as like your reference point. But all I'm telling you to do is copy what I did when I was setting up my home gym. First of all, when I first set up my home gym, YouTube didn't exist, okay? And there really wasn't anywhere to look to see reviews. It wasn't until people started putting reviews on like websites. So like there was garagegyms.com. John Burgesson was doing reviews there that you could find stuff, but it was really few and far between. So as a result, you had to actually go try stuff in person. Imagine that. You tried it before you bought it. The way that I think one of the negative side effects of the pandemic is people are, I mean, it's good and it's bad. People are, in my opinion, way too eager to buy stuff sight unseen now. And that's fine if you are an experienced home gym owner, like you've had a home gym for a while, but because you kind of have an idea of what you like. But for people who are first-time home gym owners, in my opinion, you got no business buying something based upon whether I think it's great or not. And the reason I say that is because we may not even be the same height, right? So let's say I think something works great because it fits me, but when you get it, let's say you're taller than me, you're like, it didn't feel right to me because it doesn't fit my proportions. I think a good example of that is those leg press hack squat combinations. You'll see people say, oh, this is the greatest thing. And then the video that I was specifically referring to, where I said somebody bought something, somebody commented on the review that Ashley Romiak did of the Major Fitness leg press hack squat combo. Somebody said she had already bought it and she was regretting buying it because, among other things she didn't like about it, it didn't fit her proportions. Okay, but if you see, but we weren't the only ones who reviewed it, right? So people are like, oh yeah, it feels great. I love it, man. I think one person, this is not shade, but I remember Design Build Lift said he had his daughter get on it, and you know, like to get an idea what it would be like for somebody her height. Still, that's got nothing to do with you. If you are a first-time home gym owner, you need to buy local. Do not watch a bunch. I don't care how many videos you watch. Those people aren't you. A lot of the same people who you're watching do reviews started at home gyms by buying stuff locally. And then we started upgrading our gyms. And that's what I'm telling you to do. Buy something local so that you can try it, see if it fits you, see if you like it. And that way you got your basics. And then start setting money aside so that you can then upgrade, and you can upgrade in an intelligent and informed way because you kind of know what you like. This is definitely goes double for people who have not been working out. It's one thing. So let's say you've been working out in a gym, in a public gym. One thing that we did, again, this goes back to my personal experience and a lot of other people. You work out in a public gym, you know what you like based upon using it in a public gym, right? So what we would do is go on, well, not online, but we would look for people who are selling that same product used. So we were buying commercial equipment that was used based upon what we had used in the public gym. So again, we had still tried it out. We just tried it out. It just wasn't that exact one, you know? But now you guys got Fitness Depot, Fitness Factory Outlet. You got a bunch of different places. Dick's Sporting Goods. Normally, I wouldn't say go to Dick's Sporting Goods, but and definitely don't go to Dicks.com. Don't do that. But I'm just saying, if you go to somewhere local, something that you thought was the best thing ever, you go try it. You're like, oh, this happens at HomeGymCon. People go to HomeGymCon, they try stuff out. They're like, I tried it at HomeGymCon. I like something else that I saw at HomeGymCon better, because at HomeGymCon you get to compare apples to apples. Everything's right there in the same room, right? So everybody's built different, and everybody's built differently. Our leverages are different. Our goals are different. Why would you spend the amount of money that home gym equipment costs? Why would you spend that much money on something based upon whether I liked it or not? Or whether Jonathan from No Fate liked it or not? Or Tim from Gymcrafter liked it or not? Because none of the people I just named are going to be there to help you send it back. You get it, open up the box, put it all together, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work for you. Now you want to return it, and you find out in a lot of cases you can't return it. Or you have to pay shipping if you want to return it. Stop it. And yes, this is probably going to impact me as far as like watch time and revenue and stuff. I don't care. Look, straight up. Don't do it. Do not do it. Buy local and don't spend a ton of money because you don't even know what you want. You just think you know what you want. Buy nice. Don't buy twice the sound. That's a theory. That's great in theory if you already know what you need. When Jim Wendler said that, he was talking to powerlifters, experienced powerlifters who knew what they were looking for. Just please don't do it. All right, so I see that this is generating a bunch of comments. So Carlos said everybody's body goals are different. 100%. The power rack that Carlos has, if Eric Carpenter tried it, he might not like it, and vice versa. Doesn't mean either one of them is right or wrong. Stop buying stuff just because you see your favorite reviewer said it was the greatest thing ever. Stop it. And this is the worst on Reddit. Hey, what do I need to buy? I don't even know you. And I don't know what you're trying to do. How would I know? Jared says he came across a new lady equipment reviewer yesterday, Kinsey of Utah. She reviewed the Rep Nighthawk. I enjoyed it. Okay. I mean, I enjoy watching videos, like, all right, cool, Sometimes that's how we find, as Jared said this to me in the past, this is how you find out about what's out there. That's cool. But I'm not making a purchase. So, Jared, remember you asked me if I think you were the one who asked me if I was ready to buy the Fringe Sport dumbbells yet. Okay. And I was like, no, I was waiting for something. So keep in mind, I've seen the Fringe Sport, the dumbbells, what do they call them? Primal. Now it's going to bother me. Fringe Sport. Now I got to look it up. Fringe board dumbbells. What's this thing called? Silverback. Here we go. Yeah, silverback dumbbells. All right. Keep in mind, I've seen them in person. I didn't use them, but I've held them. I was like, oh yeah, these are great. My wife has not seen them. I'm applying the same principle. I told her we're waiting to pull the trigger until you have personally tried them yourself, because these dumbbells are for me and her. And we've already talked about how in multiple different videos, we've talked about how she likes a different amount of knurling than I do. Okay. So I'm not even going to ask her to just take my word for it on a product like that she's going to be using. No. What? And that's my wife. I'm certainly not asking you to just see something in your first time home gym owner and you just say, okay, well, I'll buy that because John says so. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Now, if you already know what you like, and I say this is a good product, it's a good example of what you already like a barbell. You already know, hey, this is the kind of barbell I like. And I tell you that this is my favorite bar. It's got all these features. And it's got the features that you like in a barbell. Definitely. Hey, click that shopping button. It's in the corner. Have at it. Right? But don't do that. Carb said, yeah, for sure. My first stuff was free. I just had to haul away from someone's basement that started the ball rolling. Exactly. So we started out by getting stuff that we had in person that we were able to try in person. Why are we asking people to buy stuff sight unseen when that's not how we did it in the first place when we started? You know? So yeah, so let's see. So apparently you try to comment. Okay, looks like you guys are having issues on you guys are having issues commenting maybe on her video. All right. Let's see here. So the comment got deleted. Oh, yeah. All right. So I'll say that sometimes YouTube will delete stuff. Like I actually even got like a weird thing from sometimes, man, it just screws up. I've gotten some weird messages from the YouTube community, whatever thing. And I was just like, what is this? Like, it's just crazy. Sometimes basically you have to like when you're making comments and it sees that you are a channel, if you're like a brand or something, sometimes it interprets it as spam, even though you're making a legitimate comment. So yeah. Does anybody have the link? If anybody has the link to her channel, go ahead and put it in the live chat, and I'll go check it out. I don't want to like just be searching for it during the show, but I do want to check it out. So if you guys will put the link to her channel in the live chat, I'll click that link and we can check it out. We got a few minutes before we bring Matt Dawson on, so we can go ahead and do that. Anyway. So, okay. So Carp said, I'm always open to getting questions from the community, but I try to cover all that in my reviews. I'll actually try to answer something I would want to know if it was me. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, I don't mind answering people's questions. I don't mind any of that. But I just say, like, whenever somebody says, oh yeah, I bought that, but then it came and I regret getting it because, and I see this a lot. I don't always comment on it, but I see this a lot. People say, man, I bought this. I regret getting it. I wish I had known it was like this when I ordered it. And I'm like, try before you buy, homie. That's why when I tell people go to HomeGymCon, they're like, it's too expensive. I'm like, you could easily spend $10,000 on home gym equipment. All right. Don't you want to buy stuff that you actually want and that you'll like for a long time? The cost of going to HomeGymCon and getting a hotel room and all that, that's pales in comparison to me making sure that I'm not wasting money on stuff that I end up not liking. Home gym equipment is way too expensive for me to want to like take a chance. Think about this. You wouldn't buy a car because people review cars, right? Would you buy a car without test driving it just based off of a review that somebody did on it? You just, because you can go online and buy a car at Carvana, for example, right? So would you go buy, let's say, okay, I want a new Nissan Rogue. Never driven a Nissan Rogue in my life, but I want a Nissan Rogue. I watched a review about the Nissan Rogue, and I'm going to go on Carvana and I'm going to order me a Nissan Rogue. No, I don't need to test drive it. That sounds stupid, right? Like nobody would do that. But that's what that's what people are doing with home gym equipment. I'm like, nah, man, I'm sorry. I wouldn't do it. I don't think that if you're a first time home gym owner, I don't think you should do it either. It wasn't you who asked about French World products. It might have been Jameson. Yeah. So now we're seeing like comments. I'm seeing the comments. People say, oh yeah, same. My first equipment was hand-me-downs and people paid me for labor. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. It's like the people who are making videos didn't buy stuff sight unseen based off of reviews. Why on earth would you do it? You know what I mean? If this is your first time setting up a home gym. If you're like, so somebody like Jared who's had a home gym for a while, knows what he likes, knows what he's looking for, I understand him buying stuff based off of reviews because it makes sense. He's an educated consumer. And I'm not trying to put anybody down saying, whatever when I say this, but I'm just saying if you've never had a home gym before, and definitely if you're new to exercising, you need to make sure that you try stuff in person before you buy it. That's just my advice to you. I know her name. I remember seeing her name. I just don't have the link to her. Okay. I'll tell you what. So if I just put Kinsey in the search, it doesn't pull up her channel is what I'm trying to say. So I need the link to her channel. And otherwise, I'll just go look for it later on after the show's over. But I'm just saying if you guys, and then what I can do is I'll add it to the video description on YouTube so more people can check it out. Because I don't mind sending some traffic to her. Heck, I'd like to get her on the show. So you guys who've already spoken to her, let her know that I'm going to reach out because I'd like to get her on the show. All right. Now, let's see. We got about 12 minutes before we're going to bring Matt Dawson on. So shout out to everybody who's ordered a Garage Gorilla Bar, by the way. Hope you guys are happy with it and how it's performing. This is it's my favorite. It's my second favorite bar. My favorite bar is the Bare Naked Powerlifting Bar. And I'm planning on getting an American Barbell Chewy Bar because I saw it in person when I went to the American Barbell showroom. So that's on the budget. So that might knock the Bare Naked Powerlifting Bar out of the top spot once I get it home and I get to use it for a while. But right now, the Bare Naked Powerlifting Bar is my favorite bar. Garage Gorilla Bar is my second favorite bar, just in terms of how it affects my training. So I hope that you guys who have it are satisfied with how it's performing for you as well. All right, we got time for you guys if you guys have any topics or any comments that you want to make on the previous topics, we can do that. But per Jared's request, I'm going to go on the Ironmaster website and we'll just stroll around there a little bit so you guys can kind of, how many Gorilla Bars you are asking me something I do not know. So because David processes all of the sales, I don't actually know. I have to ask him. Because like I said, I haven't kept track of it, but I am gratified by the number of people who've bought it. So I do need I'll check out. I'll ask David, not right now, but I'll ask David and I'll let you know next week because I have no idea. I just see people, posting about it. I'm like, hey, so shout out to everybody who's bought one. Shout out to all the people who bought one who might be watching the show who haven't posted. I want to show my gratitude because it means a lot to me. But yeah, I hate to put you off, but I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to ask David, and then I'll let you guys know next week. Appreciate the question, Jared. All right, what was I doing? Oh yeah, so yeah, I was doing something for you. So let's go. Ironmaster USA. So you guys can get a kind of an overview of their stuff. So this is Ironmaster website, ironmaster.com. You guys go ahead and check out. Go ahead and check it out. You can visit ironmaster.com. This is the website we're on right now. So they got dumbbells, kettlebells, benches, whatnot. This is something I'm actually going to ask Matt about, but they don't have a conventional power rack. Okay. They have this thing called the IM 2000 self-spotting machine, which has some, various attachments. But that's it. Okay. They don't have power rack. They don't have a Smith machine. They've got the IM 2000 self-spotting machine. And so I'm going to ask them about that. They also carry dumbbells and kettlebells. Got a training vest. Got some cool, got a cool story that I'm going to talk to Matt about, actually, with their quick lock adjustable dumbbells. But they also have a quick lock adjustable kettlebell handle, so you can add weights to that as well. They've got the benches. The Super Bench is the one, Super Bench Pro version 2. This is the one that a lot of people are excited about right now, but you've also got the Super Bench, the OG version. Super Bench has, and then so the Super Bench Pro, they have attachments, which is why what makes people excited. You can add, like, they got the crunch sit-up attachment. They've got the bar dip handle attachment for the Super Bench Pro, which is crazy. Like, look how that attaches. So you attach it on the end, and then you stand the bench up like that, so you can do dips. That's wild. That's wild. And let's see here, just out of curiosity. Okay. I'm looking for the spec on it for, like, how much it can hold. All right, it doesn't have that. I'm looking to see what the weight. There it is. It says it's got a weight capacity of 350 pounds. Nice. Okay. Then, of course, they've got Olympic bars and iron plates. And then they've got clothes, like apparel, stuff, things like that. Okay. So, nice little sticker pack. Can't go wrong with a sticker pack. So, that's a quick overview for you about the Ironmaster stuff, Jared. I hope that's answers what you were looking for. Carp said, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the Bells of Steel 7-ring Hydra bar if I like the bare naked power bar. So I don't really do Olympic weightlifting movements, which I think is where the Hydra shines, the Hydra bar shines. But the thing is that for me, it feels like a bar that's I don't want to say fighting itself, but okay. So if I'm squatting, I want a bar that has as little whip as possible, right? So I want a 29 millimeter bar. That's a nice stiff bar. So there's very little vibration. Okay. I don't care about sleeve spin as much. I care about it, but I don't care about it as much. And I want a center knurl. If I'm doing any kind of Olympic weightlifting movement, I don't want a center knurl. And I want as much whip as possible. And I want the sleeves to spin as much as possible, so that I'm not adjusting my mechanics to do the lift. Okay. If I'm bench pressing, I also want a bar that's similar to the squat thing. I want as little whip as possible. Because just think about, like, the tsunami bars where they're like this a lot of whip. There's tremendous whip of a tsunami bar, but it's like it's harder to press it because of all the whip in a tsunami bar or an earthquake bar. Great for your stabilizers, not so good, just for benching in general, right? So the Hydra 7-ring bar, seems to me a bar that's trying to meet the needs of Olympic lifting and powerlifting. Maybe not powerlifting, but general purpose. So for me, it's not something that was on my radar. That's what I can say about that. That's my elevator speech on why I chose the bare naked powerlifting bar versus the Hydra. I'll also say, this is going to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, I like the bare naked powerlifting bar because I tried it at HomeGymCon and I tried it in person, and I was like, hey, I want this. I like this bar, and that's when I got it. Like I said, man, I don't do a lot of purchases. Now, if somebody sends me stuff, to do a review or whatever, that's different. Because I'm not spending money. But if I'm gonna buy something, I don't buy things unless I've had a chance to, use it in person. It's okay. Carp said, I like it as a wide sleeve power bar though with a medium knurling. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying you can't use it. I'm just saying that for me is it's like a bar that's trying to do two different things. So, and Jared says maybe a bar with rotating sleeves isn't totally necessary. I didn't say that. I said I knew you were going to say that. As soon as I said I don't need as much, I don't need the sleeves. I need the sleeves to rotate. They just don't have to rotate as much. I'm telling you that when the sleeve doesn't rotate, it alters the mechanics of the lift, which may not seem like it matters, but especially from the standpoint of somebody who competes in powerlifting movements are more technical than people give them credit for. And something like the bench press, just a slight alteration in your mechanics is the difference between making a lift and missing the lift. Okay. And whenever you have a bar that doesn't have rotating sleeves, and I mean, I'm happy to ask Matt. I see Matt backstage. He's waiting. We'll be bringing him online in a second. They sell barbells as well. I'm happy to ask him what he thinks about that. But the thing is that when you have a bar where the sleeves don't rotate, the torque that is generated by moving the bar, even if you're going up and down, just straight up and down, that torque is then transferred into your wrists and your elbows. And it's going to alter your mechanics. And I'm not interested in that. I said, especially my wife likes different knurling than me. So my wife's got her own bars. And she also is not just the knurling that's a thing. It's also the fact that she's more comfortable with a 25, 26 millimeter diameter shaft. And I like the 29. So, yeah. Matt Digman, last comment before we bring Matthew on. Matt Dawson on. Matthew Digman says, Bells still needs to improve their packaging. My bare naked power bar was coming out of the tube when it's delivered. Out of a half dozen or so bar purchases, I hadn't seen that happen before. So the first question I ask, not trying to be a Bells of Steel apologist, is you said your bare naked power bar was coming out of the tube. So is this your first time purchasing a bar from Bells of Steel? I'm assuming that your other bar purchases were from other brands, because I can tell you that when out of the stuff and Jared can probably comment on this as well, out of the bars that I've gotten from Bells of Steel, I haven't had that as an issue. I have seen, but with companies, it can always happen because you never know, man, what day it is at UPS where they decide they're going to just yeet the package off the back of the truck instead of doing what they're taking it off like they're supposed to. So there's that. All right. I'm glad you like the bar though. I love I'm saying that's my favorite bar right now. All right. So we're going to take a second here and we want to we're going to add LinkedIn. All right, so it is now 7:59, and it is time to give a shout out to the Mountain Time Zone. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. Welcome to those of you who are watching who just joined us from LinkedIn. If this is your first time, please hit the like button. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, because I promise you will like what you are about to see here. That just threw me off right there. I just got a notification from DoorDash, and I know I didn't order anything. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning here. I'm not about to, Anyway, so, but as I said, I promise that you guys will like what you see here. We're about to be joined by Matt Dawson from Ironmaster. Ironmaster is a brand that delivers premium fitness gear to elevate your strength and performance. And they outfit athletes who train, and this they've been doing it since 1979. Okay, outfitting people who with gear that they need to achieve their fitness goals in a home gym environment. And we just did an overview of their website a little bit, so I know you guys have questions. We already had some questions that I have starred for Matt, so I'm looking forward to getting his take on stuff. Plus, he's about to give us a report from FIBO and HFA and HomeGymCon. So it's about to be a good time. Matt, are you ready to go? All right. Brace yourself for the deepness of this voice, okay? Here we go. Matt Dawson, give him a warm welcome. Let's see here. And you're muted. All right. There we go. Matt, what's up, man? Matt, it says, so you have to connect your mic. Like, your voice has overpowered the microphone. That's how potent this pause. That's how powerful Matt's voice is. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
Did y'all hear that? I told you. Matt, I'm not sure that I'm going to let you stay on here. We're going to have to figure out how to get some soprano in there. You're making me look bad, man.
Oh, yeah. The earlier in the morning it is, the deeper my voice is, you know.
Well, so, I'll talk to you this afternoon. I'll talk to you this afternoon then. Get out of here. All right. Anyway, so we are Exact Carlos. I'm telling you. He says the deep voices unit. Good Lord. Anyway, man, I shared with you some questions, but I also have some questions that people asked earlier in the show. So I'm going to get those. We're going to knock those out first, and then we'll get to the questions I sent you, okay?
Sure.
So the first starred question I have is this was from my guy Trevor. He is with the Disgruntled PMs podcast. He said, do you have any new attachments? Let me go throw this up here. Do you have any new attachments for the Super Bench plan in the pipeline?
Yeah, you know what? We've been making a lot of attachments for our Super Bench product line. As you know, I mean, we have more attachments for our bench than any other company that I've ever heard of. And so, but we're not stopping doing that. We have some new things that we're working on. They're not like coming out like next month, but we're definitely in the phase. We have prototypes and we're working on developing them. And one of them is it's a small, kind of a simple attachment for doing Nordic curls to connect to the bench. And we've had the customers ask about that. There's kind of a way you can do it now with our sit-up attachment. You plug in to the end of the bench, and then you can hook your heels under the pads that you normally put your knees over. And but it's not really designed for that. It never really was, but it's kind of a hack you can do. So
so hang on. So like this guy like this, he's like set up like that.
Knees over like that, yeah.
Okay, so you just kind of like turn around the other way. Okay, I got you. I can see it.
Yeah, we actually had a different home gym hacks and reviews. One of these guys was out there posting, videos about what you can do on our stuff, and he made a video himself and showed that. So that was pretty interesting. And we tried it, and we said, hey, we recommended that to customers, but it's not really ideal. So we're making a new attachment it's actually dedicated for doing this, and so far so good. We like it, and it's it's not the same as having a dedicated device for that. That takes up a lot of space in your home gym, and space is a premium, so you try to make it small.
I'm just looking at all these, like the different attachments that you guys have on there. It kind of threw me off, really, when I saw. I don't know if you were listening when I was talking about the dip thing, like the dip handle. I was like, when I realized that you turn it like that orientation to do dips on it, like I've never seen a bench do that, but it makes so much sense because it's I don't know, the bench is already designed to hold that much weight, so usually we don't use the end of the bench for much of anything. So how, like, whose idea was it to do that? Was this like kind of one of those, like the engineers are just out having coffee and they're like, hey, I got an idea, or somebody comes running, you know what I mean? Like you have like the one guy that comes running in last minute, hair looks crazy, he's like, I've been up all night, I got an idea. Like, how did you guys come about with this idea to use the bench in this way, not just flat, but also on its end like that?
Sure, yeah. This is a long time ago. This concept, the idea for this was mine, and so we had designed the Super Bench was brand new product, and came up with this design. My father and I worked on it together back when he was still owning and running the business. This is like, I don't know, 20 years ago, and so we had this bench. It was really unique, and we thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be fantastic. So I was like, gosh, one of the things I really love training is triceps and chest for doing dips, right? And I was thinking, you could have a dedicated dip station. The machine in the background in that picture there is our IM 2000, right? And back in the day, back then, we had a machine that was called the IM 1000, and it was essentially, the same kind of frame. And we have these really big, long, dip handles that you could connect to it. You put the lifting bar up about chest high, and then you hook these handles onto it, and then you can do dips there. And I was like, man, this is fantastic. And I said, but not everybody has like a full-on machine or a cage or anything like that in their gym. And the concept that the mission I had was to make a great bench that you could use with a pair of dumbbells, and then you could do as much as possible in a small as possible space. And so I don't know. I just was like, I don't know if this is going to work. This bench was never, it was designed to be a dumbbell bench, and a bench you could slide into a rack. And I said, but let's give it a try. I mean, what do I have to lose? So I actually built the prototype myself and went out to the workshop and welded it up and made and tried to, determine what would be the simplest, smallest way to do this. And yeah, I mean, it's quite sturdy. I mean, we've been doing it for 20 years, these dip handles. And it's you can actually turn the handles the other way too, facing forward, and then you can use them as handles to hold on behind you for doing like leg raises and knee raises.
Oh, okay.
Different ab training like that. I think there's a picture like that shows that too. But the primary use is dips, and it's it's simple. It's not very expensive, and it's lightweight. It fits anywhere. So
yeah, it's like less than $100.
The bench platform holds it just fine, and it's it turned out. I decided to make it height adjustable a little bit depending on how tall you are, but it's that's one of our best attachments.
Yeah, man, I love that. I was just like, when I saw it, well, you can see my reaction. I was like, oh, that's different. Yeah, it's like I actually, that's one of the cool things about doing this too, is because in the process of interviewing somebody, I have to research, right? Even if I think, okay, I know all about the company, I still, the smart thing to do is to go research, see what they've been up to lately or whatever. And I love the fact that I run across stuff like that and just say, oh, wow. Okay. And then so I always come away feeling a little bit smarter, because I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I
like that backstory.
It's a little tricky to figure out how to get the handles connected to the square tube that plugs into the bench and make it really strong. So kind of developed a special bolting process where it's not just bolts going through, it's screws that go into like a welded nut inside. And those little details make it really, really strong and make a good difference. I
nice.
Took a little inspiration from the bicycle industry, I think, on the weights connected.
Okay, I can see that. All right, so you mentioned it was like 20 years ago when you came up with this. You guys, and I mentioned that you guys been doing this since like 1979, I think.
Yeah.
So I told you that some studies show, and you probably already know this, but like 80% of fitness brands fail within the first year. But Ironmaster's been around since 1979. What would you say are the top 3 reasons why your brand continues to thrive when so many brands in this industry start and fail in 5 years or less?
Sure. Well, the first and most important reason that Ironmaster has all this longevity is, we put out really unique products that aren't just the same or a different version of what everybody else does. And so having, inspiration from the beginning to develop, home strength training products that are just really efficient, space efficient, strong, not overbuilt, not oversized, but just, they have, something has to be interesting about it to make you stand out from everybody else. And I think that we've been successful with that, with, most of our products. And so I think that's number one. Number two is that, my father, like I said, started this company. And I was like, I was just a kid, and he was making, fitness gear in the garage with his welder and bought a couple of things. He had no real prior experience. He just thought, why can't I build stuff? And he had a little gym that he was trying to outfit, and decided to outfit his own gym and build some of his own equipment. A lot of the reason was because he was on a tight budget. You're starting up a small gym. But the other reason is he didn't really see the kind of gear out there that he was really impressed with, that he wanted to have in the gym. And then he came up with some new ideas to make his own stuff. And so, he kind of built stuff that he wanted because he didn't see it on the market. And so we've kind of done that and continued that process ever since day one. So, I think I'm a chip off the old block, and I've been doing that myself too for the last, 21 years that I've been running the business. So yeah, that's, I think that's important to say. And then, maybe the third, really important reason is that we stay focused on, well, that's kind of a part of number two, is we stay focused on what we're good at, which is making strength equipment. We're not diversifying and making cardio and making a huge range of things. We just want to have a good vertical integration into the market and just do what we do best. And, we're not making commercial stuff. We're just making home fitness equipment. And, that was kind of the vision from the beginning, and I'm carrying that forward and just sticking with that plan. I think that not wavering and not being, not flip-flopping every which way kind of keeps us focused and investing our time and our money and energies into the right path. And the customers, appreciate that and respond well to it. Then maybe the last reason that we've been so successful for so long is that, it's always been a family-run business and pretty small operation, and that we really feel like, I really feel like, just having good communication with customers, having phone calls with them, and listening to what people want. If there's ever any problems, which there always are, no matter how hard you try to be perfect, you just try to take those issues head on and solve them and make it right and all those kind of things. So, people have questions and they're confused about, we have so many attachments, or we have so many options of how to configure a home gym purchase. People want a consultation. They want some help trying to figure out what to get. And I have a good team of people. I have some really, great people that have been with me for a long time. They, which I'm really grateful for. And so they really know our products inside and out, and they know what we can do, what we can't do, how to give somebody the best advice on what to set up, or, get some new ideas about how to use our equipment, or, how much weight do I really need on my adjustable dumbbells? I mean, those are questions that are sometimes hard to answer because it's kind of a personal choice, but you have to we're available to kind of talk through those things with people, and help them make the decisions, because it's it's a big important decision for most of us. You know, what kind of gear you're going to put in your home gym, and trying to provide all that, like, you know, personal, consultative type support is what I think is always going to be important at Ironmaster, and I think that helps a lot.
So one of the things they taught me in college when I was studying to be a reporter was don't ask questions you don't know the answer to, or that you at least don't have an idea of what the answer will be, right? So I already done some research, so I kind of knew some of the stuff you were going to say, but I still wanted to get your take on it because it's important to hear it said from you, right? So and I see BJ, I see your question, and Brian, I see your question. I'm going to ask him in a second. But that being said, so when I searched, I just literally Googled, what do customers like about Ironmaster? And I got this response from Google. I'm just going to read it. It says, customers frequently praise Ironmaster products for their high quality, durability, and versatile design. That matches what you said, and it's commendable, but it's also tough to maintain. I mean, again, 1979 to now, we're in 2025. You know, that's several decades. How do you guys? I know that you guys decided to manufacture your dumbbells in your own factory so you can maintain quality control, but you still don't have, like, you know, you have employees retire. How do you maintain that standard year after year, decade after decade? You know what I mean? Like, the people who were working there when the company started have grandkids now who are old enough to drive. And you maintain this. So how do you maintain a standard?
You know, I would say that, you know, it's important that the person running the business, like originally was my dad, and then it was me. And when he wanted to, you know, retire and step back. So I think that having, like, you know, a really passionate person sort of, you know, steering the ship is important, and trying to keep the focus on our core values of what we think is important, what we think our customers want to hear, but also, you know, I think that in and of itself, you know, all this time, this isn't just, you know, a fitness company owned and run by like lots of random people that come and go. You know, this is just passion, and it's I think that makes a difference. So I would say that's probably the primary, you know, the primary reason. It's the people who run the business, you know, are not just business people. You know, this is kind of like I grew up with it. You know, I mean, it's like my whole life. You know, just thinking about, you know, supporting this and keeping this thing going. I got to be honest. Like, I feel like I've been doing this a long time, and you know, my dad kind of retired about the age that I am now. You know, and I was like, maybe have I done this long enough? I don't know, but like, I'm not tired of it, man. You know, I feel like I keep it moving forward, and keep bringing in some new people that are gonna, you know, be able to you know, to be as dedicated, you know. So yeah.
It's like Pete Carroll, who's the coach of the he was coach of the Seahawks, now he's coach of the Raiders. Right. And we're talking about how, like, he's got energy, and he's like in his 70s, but instead you look at him and some other coaches who are like in their 40s, and Pete Carroll is like has more joy in what he does than they do. And so I think that goes a long way. Like, if you still wake up every day like, man, I'm excited and fired up about doing this, it's like, why wouldn't you do it? Because this is your passion. You know what I mean? Now, let me ask you, are you at home? Or are you at the
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm at home. Yeah, I'm sitting in my home gym right now.
Okay, so that goes to, so Brian's asking, you know, he said, what's the unit behind Matt? But it goes to kind of what I was going to ask you that kind of dovetailed it. It's like, so first, I think that's your IM 2000. Is that right? Or is that something different?
Actually, no, the unit behind me is it's a prototype. It's a new machine we're coming out with. Yeah. And
okay.
We talked about this a couple years ago, and I didn't really like bring this unit to life as soon as I wanted to, and I can explain those reasons, but essentially this is the IM 3000 machine that we've been talking about for a while, which is like a step up and from the 2000. And we're not really replacing the 2000. We're just making a different model that's bigger and has, more features and more capabilities. So that's what that is. Yeah, it's a little bit of a sneak preview because we haven't announced it. We haven't sent out.
Hey, the weight of my heart. All right, there you go.
So you're getting I was debating whether I should have this thing.
Hey, you did the right thing.
Because
you did the right thing.
And we're not really ready to sell it, but
yeah,
I'll tell you what, I've been putting in years on developing this thing, and the very first unit is in my workshop at our warehouse, our headquarters in Monroe, Washington, and I built that thing, from scratch. It looks like a Frankenstein's monster, because it's not even painted, but we had to prove the concept, so it's out there. And then this is our first production sample and pre-production sample, and it's looking good. And I mean, we actually just did a video shoot, a 3-day video shoot a couple of weeks ago, right after we got back from HFA, and we're filming, with fitness models and other things we're doing to show what we can do on this piece of equipment. So one of the places we filmed it was here, is in my home gym space, and plus we did some other stuff in our studio too.
Gotcha. So you said fitness model, so basically Brian, right? Okay.
no. Back in 1980s, man, we talked about how long we've been around. The first, we didn't do video back right straight away. We just did photos, but I ended up being a fitness model to do some of the pictures for the IM like 700, one of our earlier Ironmaster self-spotting machines, Wow. And we didn't have any budget and didn't really know where to find weight. I mean, I went and found this guy who was like a bodybuilder working out at the local Gold's Gym, in the Bay Area where we started, and brought him in for a photo shoot. But before that, my dad says, well, you're lifting, you're looking pretty good. Why don't you be our model?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't think I was, up for the task, or looked good enough, but we did it, and we sold some equipment, so it couldn't have been that bad.
There you go.
Yeah, and Brian, our marketing manager, he's super passionate about our stuff, and he's done a lot of video work and shows himself in the gym training and putting trying our new fast or whatever. And so but we hired some other people that we've used in the past, like the picture you had on earlier with the guy doing dips. That we brought him back in. He's not just a model. He's a trainer, and he's really passionate. What he does. And we brought in this awesome lady who's just dedicated and trains out of San Diego. And so we actually just, wanted to find the right people that know what they're doing. They're not just standing there, they actually know how to use the gear. So when they demonstrate things, they're using the right form and looking good. Yeah.
Heck yeah. I mean, I just said, so I said that the thing about, well, first of all, Brian asked the question, but also my segue to that was, do a lot of your employees also have home gyms? Because I think that affects the it affects the fact, like as you said, people will call, they want guidance, right? Well, even if you work out in a public gym, let's say you work at a company, you work out in a commercial gym or something like that, you generally know how to help me. But if you don't have a home gym of your own, and I tell you, well, hey, I'm sorry asking you about leveling my platform or something like that, it's like I'm speaking a foreign language to you because it's never occurred to you. And so I think that also goes a long way towards the customer service side of things, because you have people who are living the lifestyle of the people who are calling to ask questions. And so they can relate. That kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So
we do have some, I would say most of my employees, have some Ironmaster gear and a few other things, whatever they want in their home gym. And we also have a gym, a company gym at Ironmaster.
Oh, yeah. It's like a testing lab. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's our gym that we have upstairs is it's fully outfitted. It's not huge, but it's enough for 2 or 3 people to train in at once,
Yeah.
And we have some prototypes we're training on in there, and but some of our standard stuff, too. And so everybody that works there, uses our equipment, and some more than others, of course. And like, Brian's got all kinds of stuff. When he works from home a little bit, and he's got his gear there, and when he's at the office, he'll train at the office too.
Yeah.
And so I do the same thing. I work out both places.
Yeah. So you can answer questions though, because you're like, if somebody says, "Well, how does this?" You're like, "Oh, well, I used it this morning," and it's like, I just think that.
Yeah, my main customer service manager, he lives in Vegas. He doesn't even live locally to us, right? He used to, but he moved down there a few years ago, and so he's got a bench, cable tower, adjustable dumbbells, kettlebells, dip handles, a lot of stuff, and he's got it in his home space. So the most popular things that we sell, he's got it right there. So to your point, he can say, "Well, hold on a minute, let me go, take a picture, or I'll show you what you do or whatever." He just intimately knows the stuff, and that really is valuable.
So we got another question. So this is from BJ. Shout out to BJ. He's got the Iron Clinic YouTube channel, and he's got a multi-part question actually. So he says, "You've led the adjustable dumbbell space. Ironmaster has led the adjustable dumbbell space for decades. Lately, we've seen smaller brands like Eisenlink release products that closely resemble your design." So as I guess you're the son of the founder, do you see these as validation of your approach? Do you see it as a threat to your innovation, or do you think it's something else entirely? And
right.
So specifically for Ironmaster, but then in general, because this happens, as he points out, this happens, or across the industry. So what's your take whenever you see something like that happen?
I hear that. Yeah. Well, the first thing I would say is that, like Eisenlink or a couple of other dumbbells that look like the current, Ironmaster Quick Lock dumbbells, they have a similar shape. The dumbbells are square shaped. They have a locking screw that's round, with a knurled handle on it. And so at first glance, they look, like, gosh, aren't those the same thing? And but that's actually a design that design my father came up with back in the 90s. And it was called the Quick Change dumbbell. And the weight plates look kind of horseshoe shaped. They have it slotted from the center down to one side. And you unscrew the locking screw, keep turning it and turning it and turning it and opening up some space, and you can take the plates vertically out of the dumbbell, right? And you can add or remove plates and then screw the big 1-inch threaded screw back together and tighten it back up. And that was at the time, that was a pretty great innovation. It was simple, all metal, very durable, simple to use, and we actually sold those things for a number of years. The product actually got sold to Hoist Fitness. The design did. It's a long story, but the short version is that Hoist Fitness got licensed to be able to sell those dumbbells, and they started making the same exact product but putting their name on it. And they had a factory that could make them. So we did that, and we were still selling the same product at the same time. Then after it got sold, and that was right at the time that I was taking over the business, that was part of my dad's kind of transition to retirement, was to be able to sell off our really popular product design. And then when I stepped in to try to run it, I was disappointed that we didn't have a great adjustable dumbbell anymore. But I had this idea, because I had a pair of those dumbbells that looked just like the ones you're talking about. And I was training on those in my own home gym, And I was like, I think these are good, but they could be better. They could be quicker and easier to make the weight changes, better balanced, a little bit, not quite as bulky, not quite as wide, because the weight plates were kind of big and, almost about 8 inches square. So I was like, maybe I have an idea. So kind of went and prototyped and tinkered with a few things to end up with what our current adjustable dumbbells are. So we have a patent on that. So in the US, nobody else makes those. And nobody else makes them anywhere else either. But we do have a patent in the United States for the current design, which is a quick lock dumbbell. And so you just do a partial turn, put the screw in, and you just do it's anywhere from a half to a quarter turn, and it's unlocked, and the locking screw just slides out. So when you want to make weight plate changes, it's quicker. You just open it up, put the weight plates in place, push the screw back in and tighten it, a partial turn. So it definitely saves time, So the other design other design dumbbells that look like this, you know, they're a little less expensive and less sophisticated. They're easier to make, and so the price point can be a little lower. But the experience of training with them isn't as good, you know. And I think that's a differentiator that I'm happy that, you know, we came up with this concept. And but to your other point you asked about was, how do I feel about these other dumbbells that are out there that kind of compete directly with us? They look like ours, but they're not the same. Well, I do kind of feel like that's actually, you know, a flattery. You know, it's a compliment to that people understand and recognize that our design is pretty cool. I've always loved the concept of having a square shaped dumbbell, you know, because it's a nice size, really good ergonomics. I think, you know, you can set them down.
So it's not going to roll away.
Not going to roll away. But they're also not, you know, for the width, when you're holding a pair of dumbbells on your by your side, or you're sitting on the bench to do incline curls or whatever, you don't really want your dumbbells to be really wide and bulky. You know, they're going to be, you have to hold them, then you have to hold them further away from yourself. And it just it's not as good to train with, right? So making them more compact is good. And as you know, doing dumbbell training, when you're trying to lifting in different directions, you're using dumbbells 360. And, you know, our design is all fully symmetrical, you know, so like there's no missing weight anywhere at the top or the bottom and things like that. And that you can feel the difference, you know, the balance of the weight. So but I like the fact that people recognize that our dumbbells are a great product and they're making things that look like them. That's okay. It hasn't slowed down our business. And so there's room out there in the market for what people are willing to invest in, you know. And some people would rather have a dial that has little clicking numbers on it, you know, and that's what they think. It's just, you know, a lot more approachable that way. Other people want to be a little bit more hardcore, like an Ironmaster customer is more, they want a serious tool that's not gimmicky, you know. They want something that's going to last basically forever. And it's just really simple, straightforward, but still, you know, still fairly quick to use. So, so I think that's pretty cool that people like that other companies, you know, see the value in our design. Yeah.
So there's a couple. Well, first of all, we got 2 requests that I don't see you fulfilling, but hey, I don't control you. So there's a request for the old photos of you from your modeling days. So if you want to reveal those, it's fine.
I got a huge poster of myself right behind me. Let me show you the camera. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I was like, hey, no problem. And then we got a request for you to sing "Practice What You Preach." So if you want to do that, I'll support you in doing it. Go ahead. It's the safe space.
But I'm going to respectfully decline those requests, but yeah.
That being said, I kind of want to talk about this because you were talking about the dumbbells. There's 2 things. Number one, I like that they're metal because I remember when I had Bowflex Select Techs, that's actually what ruined any desire for me to have adjustable dumbbells again. Because somebody came over to work out with me in my home gym. He finished a set of dumbbell flies and just dropped the weight. You know, when he was done, he just dropped the weight like he would at a, you know, public gym or whatever. Yeah. And now I grant you, when I worked at a public gym, I used to tell people not to drop the dumbbells, and I wish he hadn't dropped those. I really wish he hadn't dropped those because they broke. But this design, although I would still ask people not to drop them, it's less likely to be damaged. And that's my smooth little segue into asking you to tell this story because, and I'm going to leave these up so people can see them, because you told Sam's Fitness a story. It's sad, but it's also a tribute to the durability of your products. The one I'm talking about is where someone's house burned down.
Right.
They come home and their Ironmaster Quick Lock dumbbells were one of the few things that survived, even where other metal items did not survive. So can you, for the benefit of people who haven't heard that story, can you tell that story?
Yeah. What, you know, this is probably 7 or 8 years ago. We had a customer reach out to us, and there was some horrific fires burned down entire neighborhoods in Northern California, right? Yeah. And we got a message from a customer that said, look, I just lost my house in a fire. The whole neighborhood burnt down, you know, and which is, you know, a tragic story. And I had Ironmaster equipment in my gym, you know, and so he says, but, you know, I was finally able to get back to the site after the fire department cleared it and everything stopped burning and smoking, and went in to kind of go sift through the remains of his belongings, which is just, I can't even imagine, right?
Yeah, it's like his life.
Yeah, your life is just toast. But he was digging around, and his home gym equipment was, his home gym was his place. It's what he was really passionate about, and he was checking that out. Almost first, to see what's there. And he had had a squat rack and bench, one of our benches, and our adjustable dumbbells and some other stuff in there. And the squat rack, there's pictures of it, the heat from the fire kind of heated up so much the metal started bending and sagging, and drooping, and so the stuff was not even straight anymore. And it was, of course the wood structure is going to burn down, but metal stuff you would think could hold up. But if you get the temperature hot enough, even the metal will start to melt. Sure. So he found our bench was a little bit, all the upholstery was burned off. It was just like the bones left. But it actually was kind of still functional. It was a little bit crooked from the heat. But the quick lock dumbbells, those things are a different kind of animal. They were like sort of charred and brown, and he said, these things actually look like the paint's gone, the chrome is kind of burned off, but otherwise they kind of look like they might still work. So he took the dumbbells and cleaned them up and put them in a bath of rust remover and wire brush and everything, and cleaned them up as much as he could. And then he put them together and said, I can't believe this. These things actually still work, and I can still use them. He goes, the finish is gone, but this is incredible. So he had to send us some pictures of that and show us, the result of that. And I was shocked. I mean, I never actually did that in any kind of R&D test, when we developed products.
You never set fire to a house, man? Come on now.
Yeah, it's like, that's not a criteria we would normally think of. But these things, were amazing, right? And so we heard the story from this customer, and I was grateful to hear, but everybody was okay, except for the property, and that our dumbbells survived, and he was really impressed with it. So we offered to replace his dumbbells for him, because I said, that's terrible, and it's not really anything our fault, but I was just, I really appreciated him going to take all the effort he cared so much about the dumbbells. He wanted to save them, Yeah. And I said, but they are pretty burnt up and don't look great, And he says, no, these things work good. And I actually kind of feel like I want to keep using them the way they are, because it kind of, it makes it feel even more hardcore that I'm using these things and they still work. So he didn't want new ones. He refused the offer. So his bench was pretty bad shape. So we hooked him up on that, but, and so that was a really amazing story. It kind of goes along, our UK distributor a little bit prior to that, did a series of videos showing how tough our adjustable dumbbells are. And he was doing all kinds of, it's kind of, gimmicky stunts where he was throwing them off of a roof and dragging them behind a car with a chain and shooting guns at him and all kinds of stuff. Crazy, it was kind of fun, tongue in cheek, but British humor. But, it really got a lot of notoriety. And of course, like you said, we don't recommend you do that. We don't recommend you drop your dumbbells. You can drop them a little bit, but don't throw them. And don't light them on fire. But I'm really proud of the fact that these things are so rugged. I think that buying something once and not having to replace it because it broke and failed later, to me is awesome. And that's just that. To me, that's the epitome of doing it right,
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about trade shows and stuff, because I want to get some perspective. And we already have a request for you to bring the IM 3000 to HomeGymCon, because for feedback, and you can talk about that later on when we get to that point, when you give us our sneak peek. But so you were just at FIBO. I met you at HFA. And you are exhibitors at HomeGymCon, and you were at HomeGym. Actually, I think Brian competed at HomeGymCon last year. he either competed or he just like there's a picture of him on his Instagram of him doing something. I think it was either in the strongman competition or it was in the grip competition. But
yeah, I think he did the grip competition.
Yeah. So the point is like you guys are like you're embedded in this, right? So although you didn't have a booth at HFA, you didn't have a booth at FIBO. Why is it important for Ironmaster to have a presence at these events, even when you don't have a booth at them?
That's a good question. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, HomeGymCon, you know, we were at last year, and we're going to be back again, you know, bigger and better. And we think that show is like super cool, and it's really unique too in the U.S. because it's really specialized, focused on strength training and home equipment. Obviously, it's also, you know, has an element of some competitive, you know, events that you can do too. But I really think that is cool because, like, you know, the other shows like the HFA show in Vegas, you know, I went and I met you there, which was great. I didn't really ever plan to exhibit there. You know, historically that show is called URSA, and it was really for health clubs, you know, and so the products that you would find there were what you could use in a commercial gym setting, right?
Yeah.
Over the last, you know, maybe 5 years or so, there hasn't really been any trade shows for fitness that were for home gym equipment. So there's been like a void out there in the trade show. There used to be a show called the Super Show way back in the day, and we exhibited there 20 years ago, but that doesn't really exist anymore. So I didn't really want to go spend a lot of marketing budget and time to go exhibit at a show that wasn't the right audience for us, you know, like the HFA show. Yeah. However, it's a little different now. You know, I wanted to go see for myself. I hadn't actually been in a few years to that show, thinking, it's all commercial. What do we need to be involved in that for, you know? But decided to go. So this year showed up and found out, wow, there's a lot more home fitness brands that are exhibiting there. And, you know, maybe they're going to do some crossover, you know, to some small training studios.
Yeah.
But generally, they just want to have a place to exhibit their stuff, right? And, you know, Ironmaster, we're pretty well known in the industry. You know, we're a boutique company, if you will, still, I think. But we're, you know, we've been around so long that it's not easy to not know, you know, it's hard to not know about us. So if you're doing some research on home gym, strength training stuff. So I didn't think that, you know, the cost to exhibit there was really a great investment. You're not
building brand awareness necessarily.
Yeah. But going there, you know, I do go to these shows around the world to see what other companies are doing and kind of see what trends are, you know, get a sense of what are their competition, but it's friendly competition for the most part for us. We never have any real battles, you know. It's just like it elevates everybody to see what your other people are doing, and you want to try to match that or exceed that. But I'm always going to do it the Ironmaster way, you know. We're not going to just copy somebody's stuff, but you get inspiration for some new ideas, or see what more companies are building, because that's what the market. There's a shift in the market of what people want. They want more free weight stuff, or they want more cable stuff, or whatever it might be, right? Yeah. And so I think it's really cool. And honestly, I'm kind of like, you know, at heart, I'm also an inventor, you know, and I like to see cool new innovations and ideas, you know, and it's like, sometimes I go to these shows and I see something and I'm like, man, I wish I would have thought of that. You know, it's pretty cool. Yeah. But a lot of times you know, like this year, I said, there's some great stuff out there. It's the different kind of, they're trying to serve a different kind of need for home gym customers than we are. And that's cool because not everybody needs the same thing. So, and it helps to re-energize me to see what other companies are doing. And when you see the visitors at the show in person, and you talk to some people and have conversations face to face, you know, it's cool to see what people are passionate about and see what they like, what they don't like. You get to put your hands on stuff and feel it, you know, and, you know, our customers, you know, even though almost all of our customers buy our stuff online, right? And they don't have a chance to try it first. So, I mean, even if we're exhibiting at a trade show, we're only exposing our equipment in person to just a really, really tiny percentage of anybody who's interested, right? it's better than nothing. But you know, we still rely on our reputation, you know, and our reviews for what customers say about us, and people, you know, post videos, affiliate, you know, reviewers post, you know, videos about our stuff, and you know, we offer a money back guarantee and all that stuff. So you can buy our stuff, and if you don't like it, you can return it. And so it's not really any risk, but seeing it in person and being able to try it is cool. But I kind of like, I want to be frugal about, one of the reasons, back to the first question you had earlier, was how have you been successful and maintain your business for so long? Well, one of the, you know, important business decisions that I think affect that is that we don't waste money on things that aren't important, you know? And so we try to be frugal. I try to run the business, you know, carefully, and not just like throw a bunch of trade show budget at a show that doesn't really give us a return on the investment, you know, and doesn't really help improve our brand. Now, all that being said, I think that, you know, today there's more and more people that can come to the trade shows, and then they can see some products like at Ironmaster if we have a display, and then they can talk about it and they can share about it. You know, they do stuff like what you do, John. You know, they're bringing information out to everybody and through social media to show some cool things that they've discovered. Things they like, things they don't like, and I think that, you know, that kind of gives us a new opportunity. Right. So I have a little different opinion now of being at trade shows than I used to have. For 10 years or so, I was like, trade shows are just a waste of money, man. Like, you know, it's cool to be there, and maybe it's like an ego thing. I want to show my stuff. I want to have it on display. But when I really boil it down, I think it's not a good use of time and money to really get our products to be seen by people. You know, we need to focus on, like, you know, e-commerce marketing and SEO and advertising and all that, you know, and we could, you could use that money better that way than you can just, you know, shipping it all the way to Vegas or wherever it might be. And
because then you got to ship it back.
You got to ship it back, or you got to sell it off the floor for like 30 cents on the dollar or whatever. So, but the FIBO show, I just got back from, just 2 days ago. So waking up at this time of day was actually, you know, for us on the West Coast, it's pretty early. But I'm all jet lagged. I don't even know what time it is, man. So like, I woke up at even earlier than I needed to because I was already kind of, you know, still stuck in the Germany time zone, you know? But yeah, I've been to FIBO quite a bit we have a distributor in Europe that sells our products for the last decade. And there's another show over there called ISPO that is still around, but it's more of a sporting goods general show, you know, and it has a fitness area, but FIBO is more focused on fitness, and there's like elements of like bodybuilding, and
it's like the European Arnold. So people have heard of the Arnold, like people have heard of FIBO. It's like in magazines for decades. Oh yeah, FIBO.
Well, it's like the Arnold, except for there's a lot more equipment on exhibit.
Right.
But the Arnold sports show, you know, all the competition stuff is pretty similar to what they do at FIBO, you know. But that's the European version, right?
Yeah.
And
like I heard about FIBO because I was a part of the Animal Barbell Club. And Animal has, you know, like their thing at FIBO. So this is like 2014. And that's when I heard about FIBO. So it's a supplement company, you know. But I heard about all the different things that they had there. So it's something that's just, it's like, oh, it's become one of the fitness bucket list events, I think, that people want to attend.
Yeah, we decided to not exhibit this year at FIBO. We did last year with our recruiter, but we you know, trying to reassess whether or not I wanted to go from a busy year last year after it was slow for a number of years, especially during the COVID time, you know. I wanted to see if that momentum was going to keep moving forward and find out if the show was bigger and better than it was in 2024, right? And so that's why I wanted to go visit there. I also spent time with our distributor, which they're doing well with our products. You know, they're selling out and can't get enough of it, you know, so they're already selling. So like, you know, don't necessarily need to promote it more, you know, right at the moment. But I still wanted to potentially be there because it's like, you know, met a lot of cool influencers there last year, and this year didn't quite have the same opportunity to do that. which I thought was not really that big of a deal. But then after I got there, I was kind of disappointed, that I was like, man, we could have been here and seen more.
Yeah.
I mean, one booth for Ironmaster compared to 1,000 other companies that are out there, you get a little bit lost in, in the crowd. But
right.
If someone sees our stuff, it's pretty recognizable, and they'll come and they can spend time with us. So we're working on going there. It gave me an opportunity to start coming up with plans how we're going to make a presence there next year. Right. And so we're working on that. And so, but again, to see what's going on in other parts of the world, I mean, I don't know. I got to be honest, Ironmaster started as a U.S. company, and that's still our primary market. It's the market that we care most about. And the people in America are, we designed our products for the mindset of people having a home gym in the USA, right? But there's people in other parts of the world that want the same things. But in Europe, I've learned that there's a little different mindset about what's important. They don't necessarily have a big 2-car garage in most residences over there and things like that. Things are different. And it used to be people in Europe are more focused, other than some small faction, there's more people focused on cardio training, even in their home gym, than strength. But that's all shifting, man. Like the trade show is way less cardio equipment you can get for home, and more, strength training, and which is awesome, because that's what you guys do done. And so seeing that trend is really helping. It's motivating, and seeing what people like over there. So, other companies that make big, sort of heavy, massive things like Rep they exhibited there, and I hope they have success. I think they are. There's definitely some customers over there that want that kind of gear, But the people that I think it's not going to be quite you're not going to see quite as many monster trucks over there and big massive SUVs in Europe as you do over here, right? Which is cool, but I think that our products serve that market well too, because they're generally not huge. I mean, this thing behind me is pretty big, but because we're trying to cover the range of what people might need or have room for, But we also make stuff that's a lot more smaller. So it was cool to go see what's going on there, even if didn't have a display, and understand, talk to a lot of people, other exhibitors, talk to some visitors at the show, talk to a couple of guys having a beer later after the show at a couple of brew pubs that are famous in Cologne, Germany, and just talk about fitness. See someone walking around, the guy's that guy's jacked, and we're sitting down and we have a little chat about fitness and training. And cool guy met from Romania, that just loves vintage equipment, and he's got a lot of old 1970s Nautilus gear in his gym, and he's a gym owner, but he was there checking everything out. And so it's just neat to be able to see what goes on. And honestly, I'm really proud that, that we're like a global brand, and you get to see stuff over there. And that motivates me too, is to know that, that it helps to see that people are interested in what we do.
So we've only got time for one more question. So I got my next guest coming up, but I want to make sure that we cover this. This kind of ties back into the thing about the IM 3000 at HomeGymCon. Using the lessons you've learned from going to all of these other shows and just your experience, whatever, and being at HomeGymCon, what would you say people are going to be the most excited about when they see the Ironmaster booth at HomeGymCon this year?
Okay. Well, this machine behind me will definitely be there. So it's, I don't know exactly the timeline for when it's going to be available on the market, but it's coming up. We're very close now. We have a few challenges about manufacturing and costs for getting it over here and all that to sort out. But, this thing is amazing. I mean, I don't only have it in my own home gym just because it's new, or, I love this thing. I made it. I think, other people are going to appreciate it too, as much as I do. I kind of designed it for what I would want to have in my home gym. And that's been kind of my recipe for success, is I care what other customers think and what people want, but I think that most people have a similar idea to me, you know, about what they think is going to work well and feel good. So I'm going to have that for sure. We have, you know, we don't have like a huge list of new products. You know, we only develop a new product every couple of years, you know, other than some attachments, you know, but we'll have a few new things to show. And then beyond that, we'll have, you know, we'll have our usual products there that people can actually show up and try out in person. You know, we're always making little tiny enhancements to our products. You know, our bench has like a slightly different vinyl on it, and like now, which is grippier, and I think people like that better, and so people can put their hands on it and talk about it. You know, the fact that we're going to have a more comprehensive booth that just looks a little bit more impressive and has more stuff in it that people can come in and test out and put their hands on, and you know, so this is going to be like the big new thing, but we have a couple of other things too that we might surprise if it's ready by then. We're going to try to show that too.
Awesome. Well, man, I appreciate you being here and getting up. Despite the jet lag and all that, I appreciate you being here.
This is great. Yeah,
I can't wait to see you guys at HomeGymCon. I'm definitely coming by your booth because I want to check out the super bench as well. And I appreciate you. Like I said, I appreciate you guys being there. Jake is excited because he just popped on and said he loves to hear it. So Jake's excited to see you guys there. Everybody who wants, make sure you guys are checking out not only Ironmaster.com, but you guys also have a YouTube channel. Everybody needs to go subscribe to Ironmaster Pro on YouTube, and definitely follow Ironmaster USA on Instagram. That's where you guys can see all the stuff. All right. So no, thank you, Matt. Like I said, I appreciate your time, and we got to get you back on here again. You know, I want to hear some more stories.
Yeah, no, we didn't get to talk about as many things as we could have. So I'd love to do that again.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right. You have a good day, man.
All right, John. Cheers.
Later.
Take care, guys.
Later. All right, so that was Matt Dawson from Ironmaster. That was a great conversation. I hope you guys really enjoyed hearing from Matt. And so we're going to sign off from our LinkedIn, and we're going to as we go into the final segment of the show, which will be on YouTube. So if you are watching on LinkedIn and you want to check out the final hour of the show, please go check out at Garage Gym Life Media on YouTube. You'll be able to be a part of my conversation with my next guest, Jack Brimhall from Brimhall Barbell Club. He's got a lot of interesting insights to share that I know you guys are going to want to hear. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Make sure you guys, before I do though, make sure if you're on LinkedIn, go follow the Garage Gym Life Media LinkedIn page. We want to grow there so that we can start to stream these live on that page. I'll be able to stay on there a little bit longer. And that page is called It's Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life, and that page is on LinkedIn. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Let's go ahead and now we're gonna go ahead and go sign off and go back to YouTube. All right, so let's do that. All right, so now for those of you who are still with us, we're watching. It's the YouTube audience. Shout out to the West Coast. It is just about, it's 5:58 in the morning for you guys. It's 8:58 for us here on the East Coast. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. We are just about ready to bring on our final guest of the day, and that is my guy, Jack Brimhall from the Brimhall Barbell Club YouTube channel. So let's go ahead. Jack, are you ready? All right, Jack is ready. And if Jack's ready, I'm ready. So come on. Jack, thanks for being here, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, man, you got a lot going on. You know, you got a lot going on. I'm glad I was able to finally catch up with you.
I'll tell you what, I even have I have a hernia surgery coming up in the next week from
Good Lord.
Yeah, so that's going to put me down about 6 weeks from competing or from training at all.
That's going to impact a lot of things.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've put it off, but that's the joys of powerlifting.
Hey, dude, I completely understand. I've got some of my, let's call them trophies. All right, because you get medals, but you also get trophies. Let's look at it like that. You know, I've got like I strained my pec, I remember, and I've always got that picture for when I made a dumb decision and ended up hurting myself at a meet. Speaking of which, I know you did a bench only meet in February of this year, and now you tell me you got hernia surgery coming up. So
yeah,
well, other than so that's quite the range. You did a bench only meet and hernia surgery. So what else have you been up to?
Well, first of all, that bench only meet was because of the hernia. So
okay.
Squat and deadlift.
Okay.
But because of that hernia, I just did bench only.
Gotcha.
Which probably wasn't.
That is like straight up some powerlifter talk. Yeah, I got a hernia, so I decided to just do bench only. I'm not going to compete. Like, you know what? I'll just bench instead.
Yeah, my doctor keeps saying, "You're not lifting still, are you?" Well, I mean, I didn't do squat or deadlift for competition.
Yeah. It's like, I hurt my shoulder, so I only deadlifted. What?
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of an interesting. That's probably not the smartest move, but just life, man. Just trying to train, but then having the hernia, trying to put out content, trying to work. It's been busy. I've only been doing like we had talked about a video a month. That's going to increase, especially when I can't train as much for the next 6 weeks.
Sure.
Once I get that surgery. So, yeah, just life, really.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes life is lifing, man. And actually, ironically, this might end up being like a growth opportunity for you because you're going to have more time, as you said, so you can do more reviews, but also the process of coming back from the hernia, that's like a whole different category of videos that people who are in similar situations will be interested in. So
that's interesting. Cool. I haven't even thought of that way, but yeah,
people who coming back from, heck yeah, you Google it and it'll be like your videos could come up as results. Like, hey, what's the best way to ease back into training after a layoff? There's that whole ecosystem of that kind of question or topic. So your fan club has arrived. He says Carp's Gym. Said Big Jack Attack. He says the best bedroom gym, or as I like to call it, the Barbell bedroom. That right there, that should be the name of your thing. We'll have like names for our home gym, the Barbell bedroom. There you go.
I need to get Carp as my PR guy.
Let's say strong in every position. Pause. Pause. Anyway, moving on. My mom watches this show. Stop it. All right. Anyway, so this is something I want to talk. So first of all, we got a bunch of questions about the IPF thing. We want to talk about that. It's a little bit more in depth than I plan on talking about it, but let's go. This is a little bit more self-serving. But as someone who's a fan of thick bar training, I was interested in your review of the Cerberus Strength Axle Bar.
Yeah.
So the review came out in February. You said you had in the review. You said you had it for a few months. It's now April. So to me, that's a pretty good sample size because I think that one of the biggest issues with the review process is because reviewers, me included, tend to not we get too much stuff to keep everything, right? Like if I kept everything that gets sent to me, there wouldn't be enough room for us to live in the house, right? So, and I don't get as much sent to me as other people do. So that you'll see like a constant thing of like the review goes up, it's on Facebook Marketplace. And by the way, side note, as it's hilarious, but a lot of us are like content creators are friends on Facebook or whatever, right? So I always laugh when I see somebody's review and then I see like I get the notification that they've listed something on Facebook Marketplace and it's the thing they just reviewed. So I see it. I'm not naming any names, and I'm sure they see it when I do it too. It's like, I just saw the review. Sometimes it's on Facebook Marketplace before I see the review. And I always think that's funny. But as a result of that, we don't a lot of times get a chance to assess how well the product actually does what it's supposed to do. So that's why people talk about the knurl, and they talk about, what gauge steel is it? How's the coating on it? Is the Cerakote good? Because these are things I can assess quickly, right? Within a week or so. But saying this helped me in my training, well, that's going to take like about 90 days for me to know, right?
Yeah.
However, because you've had the Cerberus axle bar for so long, you can answer this question. So how do you think, what sort of, has there been a positive carryover to your training from using that axle bar? I know you mentioned something about your hamstrings feeling stronger. So talk about what's been the effect on your training of actually doing the thick bar training.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. One, I have to have variety. If I don't have variety, I lose interest. So when I do accessory type movements, because powerlifting's kind of boring, it's bench, squat, lift. And so I got to have some variety with my accessory stuff. So that covers that. But probably the best movement I found with that axle bar, and I talked about it in my video a little bit, is deadlifting with it with straps, which sounds counterintuitive because normally you get an axle bar because you want to work on grip training. So why would you use straps to deadlift with an axle bar? And the reason I do.
All right, you're gonna make all the strongman competitors mad at you because
yeah. So
that's right.
It's great because number one, it's the stiffest bar you're going to deadlift with. So there's not going to be any flex. And two, being that it's 50 millimeter diameter instead of 27, it's out in front of you a little bit extra. So you're in a position that's not advantageous to deadlift because it's out in front of you further than you'd like it to be. So it hits your hamstrings in a way that a regular barbell won't. And it's
pretend you didn't see me just like the video just now. Right? Pretend you didn't see that. I just now liked it.
It's a great bar to hit accessory movements because it hits you a little bit different, especially with deadlift. I like to squat with it. I'll bench with it, but for deadlifts, it's been. I feel like it's really helped as an accessory to my regular deadlift for sure.
So like that's why I like it, because I was at Spud Inc. and Mark Bartley. Spud told me that this is what got my wheels turning, the first to ever start thick bar training. He said that he and Donnie Thompson used to do a lot of thick bar training, to preserve their joints, and because psychologically, once you go back from a thick bar to a normal bar, it just feels like it's like nothing in your hand. Now, I'm not able to do what they were doing, which is just exclusively thick bar training for a while, because, and this goes along with something that Jared asked me about, whether revolving sleeves are necessary. But I find that if I use just the thick bar, it throws my mechanics off because the sleeves don't revolve. The sleeves don't spin.
Yeah.
And so when I go back to benching with a normal bar, I feel stronger, but my technique isn't as good. So I can't always express that strength the same way. So that I actually like thick axle bar for pressing even more. I like it for deadlifting too, but I like it even more for pressing than I do for deadlifts, strangely enough.
Well, I like it to press too, because I like having a big diameter bar. The other thing with the Cerberus axle bar that I really like that some don't include, like I use the Rogue one. A buddy of mine has the Rogue one, but it's only 25 pounds. The Titan one's really well priced, but it's like 26 pounds. And this one is 55 pounds. So it's a little more substantial than a lot of the cheaper axle bars.
Yeah.
And it feels a lot better. I
don't like doing all that math, man. I'm sorry. I've used the 20-pound axles, and then you got to like figure it out.
Yeah,
I had a 30-pound axle. I was just like, man, I'm not about to do this.
It's hard enough for me to do the math anyway.
I'm like, I'm not doing that. So yeah.
So I like it a little bit beefier for my axle bar.
So I got it pulled up on the screen so people can see all these ring marks. It comes with the two outer ones, right? With the red
it comes with the Olympics. I added
other ones.
Yeah, I added the one in the center and the two kind of.
Is that tape or did you paint it?
It's tape. It's just red tape that I bought. Okay. You can hardly tell the difference between what it comes with and my little marks.
Okay.
But
talk about why you added those.
So when I first deadlifted with it, I I didn't know where to put my hands. I mean, it has the power marks, but as I go in, I can't figure out where the center is. It was really hard to deadlift with. And then squatting, I couldn't find the middle. And everything was just cattywampus.
Yeah.
It just made it so I didn't want to use it because I had to focus too much time on figuring out my hand placement. And so that's why I added the marks. For me, just functionally, it's way better to have kind of some reference points of where I put my hands or where I put it on my back. That kind
100%.
of thing.
I mean, so like, you know, the bar I have has the, I know you don't like knurling on the axle bar. The bar I have has knurling, but it's also got the center knurling, just like on a normal bar. And that was one of the reasons, because I'm like, this bar is a powerlifting accessory bar. I don't compete in strongman, so I need it to be as close to, given the caveat of the sleeves not spinning, I need it to be as close to a power bar as possible. Now, I don't like an axle bar for squats because it's so thick that, you know, like I already have a problem getting into low bar position with a normal 29 millimeter bar.
Yeah.
But you like using yours for pause squats.
I do.
So why pause squats specifically? Is it because it pitches you forward, or what is it?
When I do pause squats, I want to be real controlled. I want the stiffest bar possible. And it is hard if you don't have good shoulder mobility, and I can't use it a ton, or it will hurt my shoulders. But that bar, if I'm real controlled squatting with that bar, there is just no flex on it. It is so stiff that it forces me to just be really deliberate and slow in my pause squats, which is what I want to do. Because when I'm doing pause squats, I don't want to be bouncy. I don't want to ride, you know, the wraps. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to be real controlled, pause, come up, and just really hit you know, my quads and my hamstrings. And that bar kind of forces me to do that, to be super controlled. And then, like I said, there's just zero flex to the thing, which I love.
Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is the knee sleeves thing with the IPF. So full disclosure, I competed in the IPF. Well, when USAPL was the IPF affiliate. Now they are no longer the IPF affiliate. Powerlifting America is.
Yeah.
USAPL, I think it's IDFPA or something. That you would be. That's their international arm. Whatever. That's got nothing to do with it because they're not involved with this. So, I said you were pretty fired up, and by that I mean you were fired up enough to make a video.
Yeah.
Because I don't make videos just, you know, if I don't care enough about it, I'm not gonna make a video, right? But you cared enough about it to make a video, even though you don't compete in the IPF either. You compete in USPA.
Yep.
So first of all, why did it bother you enough to make a video about it?
Just the way it was handled. When the Inzer Ergo Pros, if folks remember, those were the first super stiff knee sleeves that came out a couple of years ago. And they're super stiff. If you haven't used them, they're hard to get on, they're hard to get off. And they got approved. They got approved for use.
It's like a knee wrap.
Essentially, yeah. And it's as close to a knee wrap as you're going to get without using a knee wrap.
Heck yeah. All right, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Folks were shocked that it got approved, but it got approved. And so, and they're expensive. They're over $100. And so other companies were like, well, we got to do this too. I mean, so other companies spent their time, A7, a bunch of different companies, to develop knee sleeves that had that stiffness, and competitors bought them. And just like I did, even though, you know, I'm in the USPA side, but then 2-3 years later, say, well, now we did an analysis and they're not single ply. Really frustrating. It's drama in the powerlifting world that doesn't need to be there, because all these different competitors bought knee sleeves that lift on that side that it's going to impact, and on the side I'm on. And then for them to be on the ban list, And then I can't imagine being a company that spent all this time and money to get on the list. And then after you do that, then they say, no, they're not approved when you've already approved them. It's crazy how they did it. It was really mismanaged. And then some companies didn't spend the time to develop stiff knee sleeves. So now the conspiracy is, were they the ones that were fighting to get those stiff knee sleeves off the list? It doesn't look good. It's kind of a drama that didn't need to happen. And I feel bad for for the companies that spent all that time to get on the list, to be told now you're not on the list, and for folks that spent all that money. So just frustrating. There shouldn't be that kind of drama in the powerlifting world, and it impacts a lot of people. So,
all right. So I should have said this in the beginning. First of all, full disclosure, I'm friends with Kimberly Walford. She's the Assistant Secretary General of the IPF. At least I think that's what her title is. I have zero inside information. Okay, let's just make sure I have zero inside information. I'm just pointing out that I don't want anybody else to say, well, there's conflict of interest when I say this next thing, because I'm friends with Kimberly. All right.
Yeah.
What I'm saying though is, I saw when, I guess, Steve Dennison was behind it, like when he made the post, he said, well, the USPA still allows all knee sleeves, right? Well, if, like you said, these are actually stiffer than most other knee sleeves on the market. So if I go buy these and I go compete in USPA against somebody who's wearing a different kind of knee sleeve, I am getting an advantage. It'd be like me wearing a single ply suit and calling it a singlet.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't see how that's fair either. You know what I mean? So when they say, oh, well, this is still all, I'm like, actually, that's not a good solution. The good solution is to say, we tested it and no, this doesn't work. You feel free to wear it if you're going to compete equipped.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to that, you know? So that's my first reaction to that. And at the same time, this is something that Carp said earlier. He said the only people who've complained about that are the people who are sponsored by SBD. Because if you're sponsored by SBD, you can't go get the Inzers because, you know.
And SBD didn't come out with super stiff alternative.
Exactly. So you're like, he says basically the only people who've complained about it are people who are sponsored by SBD. Well, then Matt kind of echoes what I'm saying when he said, like, well, if they're claiming that the other sleeves are giving people unfair advantages, then, well, what are you supposed to do? And you can always say, well, SBD just needs to come out with a super stiff sleeve and that fixes it. But again, looking at the people who are coming in and who are competing in raw, not raw with wraps, which is what USPA says. They're coming in there, we're competing raw when wearing knee sleeves. The deciding factor when you're competing raw shouldn't be the equipment. If it is, then you should be competing single or multiply.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying single or multiply are easier. That's a very technical part of the sport. It's very difficult. I'm not knocking anybody, not throwing shade at anybody. I'm just saying the deciding factor shouldn't be. It's like if I play basketball. You remember when they had like the Reeboks with the air, the pump? So yeah. Remember the NBA wouldn't let them use them because it said that's an unfair advantage. Other shoes didn't have that, right? And to me, that's like probably there's some money involved in it too. But I'm saying that's sort of like a similar concept, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that's like, I mean, well, does that make sense? Like, what's your take on that?
No, I think it's a fair point. Look, I think that my Inzer Ergo Pros, and I did a video on this a while ago, I think it gives me 5 to 10 pounds of extra bounce compared to like my SBD knee sleeves. There's no question that it's gonna give me a few pounds. I just wish they would have, instead of allowed it on the list, they would have done their due diligence before approving them, so that folks didn't waste their time and money. Because I do think there's no question knee sleeves are getting insane in terms of people are buying them 2 sizes too small. People are having to cut them off. I mean, they're essentially trying to treat them as a wrap
Oh yeah.
without wrapping, without
Yeah.
doing classic raw with
Right.
wraps. So I just wish they would have thought about that. If they would have just not approved it on the front end and said, look, these are essentially are going to give you a competitive advantage and it's not raw anymore, I wouldn't have had any problem, because I think all the points you made are pretty spot on. That I do think there is a slight advantage
Yeah.
from the rebound you get. The tighter it is, when you hit depth, and you have to kind of learn to ride the rebound, but it's
Yeah.
giving you a bump out of the hole for sure.
It's a and then at the same time, you also got to look at it like, once you know that something violates your, yes, they should have done better in the back in the day when they first approved them. But once you know that this is an issue, then somebody's going to say, well, why didn't you stop as soon as you knew it was an issue? Because that impacts world records.
Yeah.
You know, impacts world records going forward. And Carp said, just come to Strongman, you wear whatever knee sleeves you want. Yeah, but you also, I would say this, look at how many competitions, and I've never competed in Strongman, my brother has, but I've live streamed a lot of Strongman competitions. As a result, I had to know like what the rules were. And a lot of times they tell you, okay, well, you can't wear this grip shirt. You can't wear this. You know, this is not allowed. So
Yeah.
that still plays a role as well, which then impacts what your training looks like, because you're going to try to, you know, get stuff so you get used to using it. So you can buy it and have it at the house. You can get used to using it in competition. But Carp said, if you ask me, this should fulfill the contract anyway, because it was supposed to go to 2026. Even if they're paying installments, they had a contract. So all of a sudden the contract doesn't exist. My biggest thing with the IPF, first of all, like, either paying installments, maybe you refund them whatever they've paid for the year and say, hey, just take this money back or whatever. My biggest thing with the IPF, and the reason why I think this looks crazy, is because it is so expensive to get your stuff on the approved list in the IPF.
Bingo.
So even when they say, hey, well, these knee sleeves are too stiff or whatever, people automatically assume it's something to do with money. Yep. Because, and I mean, so for those who don't know, I don't remember what the approved thing is for IPL/USPA, but it's not even close. Like in the IPF, it's, when the last time I checked into it, you're looking at 20 grand, and that's for one item. So you pay 20. So let's say it's wrist wraps. You're paying 20 grand for the wrist wraps, right? But let's say you also make belts. Well, the belts aren't covered by what you paid for the wrist wraps. You got to pay for the belts too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's say you have socks. Okay. Well, the socks aren't covered by what you pay for with the belts and the wrist wraps. You got to pay for the socks separately. And you got a singlet? Okay. Well, that's extra too. And it's like, I'm like, at the very least, it could be like insurance where you get a bundle if it's a home and car. I mean, hey man, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think about that.
Yeah, and I think that turns people off with the money part of it. And I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but there's a lot of money involved in that. I think there's a lot of folks that just want to go and lift. And like I said in my video, I don't care either way. I just want to know the rules. Yeah. And so that I can prep for whatever meet I'm looking at prepping for. And I know what the rules are.
Yeah.
I just kind of hate how it was handled.
I think this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to quit dragging the IPF. And we got a question from Carp specifically for you. But I still remember when A7 became a sponsor for the IPF, and maybe a USAPL, whatever. And so they would have they would show the ad for A7 on their live streams, and they would say, okay, now is their grip shirt, right? They said, not to be clear, these shirts are not allowed in competition.
Yeah.
Like, well, then what's the point of me getting it? Like, why do I want it? They said, but it's still a great shirt to train with. I'm like, what? I just thought that was hilarious. The money. All right. Now, the question for you from Carp is, what's your favorite bike? What's your favorite barbell out of what you've reviewed?
Favorite barbell. It's got to go down. This is probably not popular. I love the Chewy bar, but I still think my favorite power bar anyway is the now defunct
The Kabuki.
Kabuki 250K power bar. It's my.
But wasn't the Chewy bar supposed to be like a more accessible, as in less expensive, easier to get version of the?
Well, I
Kabuki
paid over
power bar?
$700 for my Chewy bar. So it's expensive. What they wanted to do was build a bar that was better. That was number one. It was stainless steel because Kabuki didn't offer stainless steel.
Oh, that's what
And
I knew.
two,
There was
it
something
had-
to do. Like it was a reaction to it.
Yeah, and it would have tighter tolerances, better fit and finish, and they did all of that.
Oh,
But that Kabuki bar, the Neural, I know it's close to the Chewy bar, but I notice a difference. I just my go-to is always that Kabuki bar. I got mine in electroless nickel. I just love the way it looks. I love that it has a center neural mark,
yeah.
which the Chewy bar doesn't. I wish more bars would put a center mark instead of just power markings. It's an easy addition, and I just think it looks great and it's functional. When I squat, I have that center mark. I just like that. So I would say still the Kabuki. And then of my bikes, I don't know if you know this, John, I have like 26 bikes. I got so many different bikes, but I love the old school BMXs. I love my GT Pro Performer. It's a 1985. I just took that out the other day. That thing's sweet. That thing's a legendary bike. But by the way, the Rogue Milo, which is a bike that I have reviewed,
Yeah,
started out as
there it is right there.
$1,500, went down to $1,000, and now it's $500. And it's built. It's an American-made bike, and I don't get any money by Rogue, but they build it at Stinner Frameworks in Santa Barbara. There's like 2 hours of welding time per bike. Stinner Frameworks is a custom bike shop. I've been there. It's awesome. You're not going to get a bike like that for $500. It's a single speed. It's belt driven. So if you don't want a single speed, it's not the bike for you. But it's belt driven. There's no chain. 100% chromoly steel. It's like a little tank. If you just want a bike to get exercise on,
Yeah.
for $500, that thing is a steal right now.
Okay. All right. So I will link to. No, I will not. What I will do is I will put that video. I was about to say I'll link to it. I will add that video to the Watch What I'm Watching playlist. I don't know if you heard. I've got a playlist of stuff that is like basically it's other people's videos on YouTube, and I want to help get some traffic to. So I'll put it in there, and then I'll watch. I will watch it as part of that as well. Because I'm interested in it. Because my wife enjoys cycling. We got 3 bikes. They're all hers. And she actually did her first triathlon with a mountain bike.
Cool.
Yeah, with it. Well, no, I mean she's done multiple. So I'm saying she ended up doing her first triathlon with a mountain bike. And you can always see the people who are like doing their first triathlons because they always have a mountain bike style bike, and then they'll switch to a road bike because the mountain bike is heavy. You can't change gears or whatever. It's single speed sucks if you're doing a triathlon. But in any case, but I know she'll enjoy watching this.
And I have an updated review since the price came down, and I've put over 1,000 miles on that bike now. So my next video is going to be an updated kind of review of that bike with the price drop. So that's going to come out sometime next week. Because
you shoot this with a GoPro?
I shot that with the GoPro, yeah.
Okay. Just curious.
But yeah, over 1,000 miles I put on that bike, and it is a fun bike to ride around. It's like a little tank.
Nice. All right. We got another question for you, and this is from Jared. Jared wants to know, what are your preferences as far as squat, bench, and deadlift, and why?
Well, I'm the best at bench because I get short arms. I'm more built for bench.
Okay.
So I mean, I love deadlifting, but I'm just not as good at it. It's always like when I go to meets, my bench is always one of the top benches. My squats, one of the, probably in the top 30%. My deadlift's like at the bottom 10%, but I like them all. But my bench is what I'm better at.
Yeah, so I'm looking at your last. I got Open Powerlifting pulled up. Your last Worlds, that's in Vegas last year.
Yeah,
you hit a 429 squat and a 402. I mean, now as you get like, this is not uncommon in powerlifting actually for people to squat more than they deadlift. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like it's like, what are your leverages? And then plus, like, you use your legs in squat, you use your legs on the bench, then you go deadlift, and it's like, okay, well, what do I have left? And then if it's a lift that you're already not really, it's not like you don't have the leverages for it, it's like, okay, well, now this makes it even harder. So
my bench is way too close to my squat. I touch and go. I've hit 370.
Nice.
Competition, I'm in the 340s. Yeah. My deadlift's not much more than that. But
I
switched my deadlift. I used to do sumo just because of my back. Now I'm doing conventional, but then I got hernia. So, it's just fun to do.
I would have thought that actually sumo would work for you, or maybe like that hybrid style like Ed Cohen did.
I tried, and it just feels funny.
It feels funny.
I mean, I've done, I think 416, 420.
You just need more time at the yoga class. Get your hips open.
Yeah, you should. Me in a yoga class would be scary.
Hey, you are looking for content for your channel. I'm trying to help you. All right. So speaking of which, as we're wrapping this up, what's coming up next for your channel, man?
Gonna do an updated Rogue Milo review. I got a review coming on the Chewy bar. Is that the best bar you can get? It did cost me, to my door, it was over $700, which is like, geez. But it is a great bar. So American Barbell Chewy bars coming up. And then I have some accessory type videos. Cart, by the way, has done some great videos on accessories, which made me really think. And I think those are awesome because they're things that people are looking to use like now. And so I have some of that stuff coming up. And just hopefully, as I'm recovering from surgery, putting out more stuff. So, hey, Kurt Locker, hey.
What to say? You got at least Kurt's looking forward to it. I know I am too, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think a lot of this stuff is just like finding like your niche, like this stuff. Number one, like, what are you interested in shooting videos about? And like the bike thing, like, it sounds like it's right there in your wheelhouse. And then you mix that with what people want to see more of. And, because this stuff is hard enough without doing videos about stuff nobody's going to do videos about stuff they hate, but like doing videos about things that you're kind of like lukewarm on, because then it becomes just like, it's like, well, I already have a job. I don't want another, like, something drudgery, what I mean?
And I'll do a video that I think is going to get lots of views, and it doesn't. And I'll do a video that I think will get no views, and it will get thousands and thousands. So I don't know what the formula is, but I haven't figured it out.
Oh, that's right. Well, let's see what we can do to get you thousands of views. Step one, everybody go subscribe to @Brimhall Barbell Club on YouTube. And, just because, Jesus loves you, follow @Brimhall Barbell Club on Instagram,
Yeah.
and you check out his stuff there. Nah, man, I'm definitely serious about it when I say I remember when I was starting and I felt like nobody cared, nobody wanted to help me. And I mean, I'm not having a pity party or anything, but I was just like, dude, sometimes I was just asking questions and people wouldn't even respond. You know what I mean? It's like, so I'm trying to be the change.
So using your platform for good. And
there you go. I'm trying to be a force for good in the galaxy, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on here, Jack. Like I said, if you are interested in being part of that playlist, just let me know. I'll send you the link, so that you can just add. Basically, when you make a video, you just add it to the thing.
Awesome,
and it'll go there. All right. Well, you take it easy, man. Hey, get well soon. So you have the surgery coming up, right?
Coming up in the next 10 days. So.
All right, hey, man, dude. Hoping you pull through that. Get well soon. I'm looking forward to seeing your content. Like let's hold off on the yoga class till after surgery. Right? Let's wait. Let's wait a little bit. Thanks for being here, my man.
All right. Hey, appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Later. All right, so that was my dude Jack from Brimhall Barbell Club. We got one more segment. This is you pick the topic, and it's going to be pretty quick. We already kind of addressed this. Today's topic comes from Jared Martin. So shout out to Jared. In fact, those of you who are interested in seeing more from Jared, follow his content. Follow at jared.freedomgym on Instagram. You guys will get to see him lifting up everything in sight. Dude's super strong. You can check him out there. But he said he wants to know if we think that rotating sleeves on your barbells are necessary. He says, I don't do Olympic stuff, so I don't think I would really miss it. The rotating sleeves that offer what I do. I'm going to say, so here's my answer, and then I want to hear from you guys who are watching. First of all, we've had rotating sleeves on barbells since like 1910. Okay, so barbells before then existed. Alan Calvert had already invented them, but rotating sleeves came out because in competition, Olympic weightlifters wanted it for the Olympics, right? So Olympic style lifting needed, I didn't need it, but it was going to be a technological leap forward, and the amount of weight lifted on bars prior to rotating sleeves and after rotating sleeves is significantly higher. Okay. But to Jared's point, he doesn't even do Olympic weightlifting. So is it necessary? Well, I think, and there you go, Kurt, I'm with you. As I kind of said it briefly, but whenever you move a bar, it rotates. The bar rotates, right? That torque is then transferred to your elbows and wrists. That's not my opinion. That's just the way it works. So your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, they're all absorbing that torque. And the heavier the thing is, the more you're straining, the greater the risk of injury. Okay. So I think, in fact, to me, I think that rotating sleeves are important because it also is going to affect your bar path. So you're going to be learning a whole new technique for bench pressing, to a certain extent for squatting, if your sleeves don't rotate. And I actually had somebody talk that he purchased the Garage Gorilla bar, and he noticed that it altered he got the Garage Gorilla and he noticed that it altered his bar path for benching. And I was like, yeah, that's why, in my opinion, that's what I was saying to Jack, why I don't think you should replace your normal bar with a Garage Gorilla bar for like benching or something, because you're going to alter your mechanics. But even for overhead pressing, it's mechanically different to press with an axle bar, for example, which has non-rotating sleeves, and to press with a barbell that has rotating sleeves. So in my opinion, no. But I want to hear from you guys. So Kurt says already rotating sleeves on barbells should stay. Jared says I'm an axle guy. What else can I say? Oh, yeah, sure. And to me, if you're only going to use an axle bar, okay, sure. But if you're going to use an axle bar and then at some point you want to use a barbell with rotating sleeves, let me put it a different way. For longevity purposes, because you're still young, for longevity purposes, I highly encourage you to do some of your training with rotating sleeves. Let's just say that, okay? And now so this goes back to this center neural thing about that Jack mentioned. One reason why I don't just automatically co-sign center neurals and everything. For me personally, yes, I agree. However, women who lift, a lot of times they lift in a tank top, and they don't like the center neural because they don't want to get the abrasion from the bar on the back of their neck. And yeah, so that's the caveat to that. Anyway, so Carp says, I do own and use SBD sleeves. I like them as a daily driver, but I have other brands, ones for competition. Yeah. All right. One more. So here's a scenario. Pick your favorite bar that you don't use for any type of Olympic movement. Now imagine they offered a rotating sleeve version and a non-rotating sleeve version at however much money less. Okay, yeah, but I didn't say Olympic lifting. Notice I said bench pressing and squatting and even overhead pressing. Okay, I wouldn't do it. So the bare naked powerlifting bar, if that had if the sleeves on that didn't rotate, I wouldn't use it for that, because it's going to alter my mechanics for benching in such a way that it's going to so powerlifting is a sport. I'm training for competition, even though I haven't competed. The reason I haven't competed in a while is because I'm trying to build this. But yes, I am going back to compete again, right? And it doesn't make any sense to me. It's kind of to me like I might, if I played football, I might do a certain amount of, and I'm a receiver, I might do a certain amount of catching without a helmet on. But at a certain point, I need to start wearing a helmet, because that's what I'm going to have to, that's the environment I'm going to be in when I play on the field, right? So you want to mimic competition conditions. And there's still the health aspect. Again, like I said, the impact on the wrists and elbows, it's all well and good when you're in your 30s, okay? But this is the sort of thing that you want to still be doing when you're in your 80s. Don't get rid of the rotating sleeve. Yeah, that bar is probably cheaper, but guess what's not? Surgery. So that's what I'm saying, okay? So maybe you save money on non-rotating sleeves, but go ahead and take that money you saved and set it aside so you have it available to pay your copay when it's time for surgery. Kurt said he doesn't even think there's a cost savings there. Kurt says axles are a rare exception, and they even make thick bars with rotating sleeves now. So basically an axle with rotating sleeves. All right, so there you go. Anyway, that was an interesting little debate. But I don't think that's an interesting debate, but you're not going to convince me that rotating sleeves are a bad idea. I'm just not going to do that. Anyway, thanks everybody for being here once again. Oh, wait. Okay. So let's see. After this, yeah, okay, I'll put it out. So the Home Gym podcast premieres in 20 minutes after this is over. So you guys head on over there to Garage Gym Radio and check out Jason and Mark's podcast. That's going to premiere, upload. It's going to premiere in about 20 minutes. So you guys head on over there and check it out. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on replay or if you're listening on Podbean, thank you. Appreciate you guys for being here. What in the world? Said don't rotate your sleeves. Okay. I'm assuming. Hopefully you're not talking about the sleeves on the barbell. But hey, I appreciate you being here. I haven't seen you on the show before, so thank you for chiming in, and I hope you stick around and check this out on replay. And I hope that you like it enough to come back and watch at the very beginning of the show next time. But dude, I'm really glad that you were willing to join us. All right. Hey, my mom said it's a great show all the way, so that's good enough for me. Next week. Oh, okay, hold on. So you say yeah on the bar. Gotta disagree with you, my man. Rotating sleeves are an important thing for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. I'm not about to seal my barbell sleeves with tape. Absolutely not. You know, I don't know how old you are, but I'm in my 50s and I plan to still be lifting 50 years from now. And I'm going to have my rotating sleeves and show my wrists some love. Anyway, we're at the point where if I got to stop the show now. So let's tell you what's going on next week. Next week, as I mentioned, we'll have the dynamic duo from Thick and Fit Adventures YouTube channel here to talk about what to expect from their new YouTube channel, and I'll get them to talk about how they feel about their Rogue FM6 functional trainer since they did their review of it. I want to find out how they really feel about that Rogue Echo Rower. Maybe I'll even get them to give me a sneak peek about what's coming up next on their channel. Make sure you guys are following at Garage Gym Life on Threads. I mean, follow me on Instagram too if you want, but follow on Threads because that's where I give you guys the latest information about what's happening on this channel. Until next week, thank you for being here. Keep stacking days.